Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Mr. Zarzecki, can you please call roll?
Yes. Mr. Roman,
Here.
Mr. Kuzno,
Here.
Mr. Quinto,
Here.
Ms. Chick,
Here.
Mr. Drummond, or Dryer. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Green, Ms. Afante,
Here.
and Zarzecki present, all present.
Thank you. I make a motion we adopt the agenda and add meeting schedule under new business.
All support.
Supported by Ms. Chick. Any questions on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed. We will go call to the public. Mr. Lippens.
One second, let me maximize this. So this is the first call to the public.
Yes, it is.
All right, for anyone in the audience this evening, just a little bit of instructions. We have two general calls to the public. We are also conducting this evening 6 public hearings. So you'll hear this a number of times from me, but what I'd like to request is if anyone has a public comment for Planning Commission tonight about an item that is not on a public hearing, this would be the time to speak. So if you're attending this meeting specifically to comment on one of the cases, we would ask that you wait until we open that hearing, because there will be numerous times tonight you'll have an opportunity to speak. So right now, this call is for attendees that want to speak on another business item, something not on the agenda. Chair, does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So attendees, I'm looking for you to raise your hands if you have a comment for an item that is not under the agenda. If you're dialing in by phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *6. If you are on a computer, you raise your hands using the prompt at the bottom of the screen where it says raise your hand. I am not seeing anyone raising their hand right now. Oh, I'm seeing one person raise their hand, 2 person raise their hand.
Mr. Lippens, we'll remind everyone they state their name and address for the record, and they have a 3-minute time limit. And if they get within 30 seconds of the end, I'll chime in.
Wonderful. Yes. So just to repeat that, comments will be kept to 3 minutes, and we're asking that you also state your name and address. Now I see one person with their hand raised, Jason Megry. Jason, I'm going to call on you now. I'm unmuting your microphone. And
can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Jason Megry. I am at 58 Barker Road, and I'm here tonight representing my client, MRCA Properties, LLC. We have an interest in one of the applicants tonight, and I just wanted to announce that I'm here and say that my client is very involved in the business community here, and we're very interested in the proceedings, and I look forward to observing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Negri. I'm now seeing Keri Valmassei. I hope I pronounced that right, with a hand raised. Keri, I'm going to allow you to talk. You'll have 3 minutes, and please state your name and address. All right, Keri, I've unmuted you. Do you have a comment? Keri? All right, Keri, I'm going to mute you because we don't hear any response on your end. I'm now seeing Brant Johnson has his hand up, would like to speak. Again, to items not on the agenda tonight. Brant, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. And please state your name and address. I'm allowing you to talk now, and I am unmuting you.
evening. This is Brant Johnson. I'm here representing Great Lakes Logistical Experts. We are on the agenda tonight, and I'll be present along with the general managers, James and Angela Azar. I want to thank you all for the opportunity to speak and to make a little presentation today. I hope you all got our PowerPoint, and I just want to say thank you, and we'll be here and available during that section of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. All right, I've muted Mr. Johnson. And I see no more attendees with their hand raised. Oh, someone's chiming in here. Adam, you have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address. I'm going to allow you to talk. We can hear you now.
Adam Olney, 9315 Lakewood Court, Whitmore Lake resident. I just wanted to say I look forward to the Planning Commission handling this in a professional manner like they have with everything else they've handled with the marijuana businesses, and that they give everyone the opportunity that they have earned because they've already been vetted by the state. And I know you guys will handle this in a professional manner. So thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. I'm going to mute you now. And at this time now, I am not seeing anyone raise their hands.
Thank you. Any clarifications from commissioners? Seeing none, we'll move on. Correspondence. We did receive the Hamburg Township Planning Commission master plan notice. We also received marijuana correspondences, and there have been some that have come today and yesterday, and they may not be included in the packet today, but they will be forwarded and included in the packet for our next meeting. So those that did send them, we did receive them, and we will forward them to all commissioners, and will be in the next packet if yours has not been in the packet today. Anything to add to that, Mr. Lippens?
No, I think you've got it covered. Correspondence that was not submitted in time to make it in the packet will be put into the next packet. But if it was submitted as part of a public hearing taking place this evening, it will be published in the next packet.
Correct. So we'll go to the public hearings on item 7. I'll give a quick overview of how the public hearing process goes. The first thing, I will call on the planner to present a short summary of the report. The next, I will call on the applicant to present a statement regarding the request, and we will allow a 5-minute time limit for that. I can give a 30-second notice at the end. We will then call on those of the public that wish to speak on any of the public hearings, any of the cases. We will give a 3-minute time limit per speaker on that also. And I may call on the applicant for any clarification or the planning consultant for any clarification. And just so everyone knows, this is not a Q&A, a question and answer session with the applicants or the commissioners. The public is more than welcome to speak their piece and give us their opinion regarding each case. And if there are concerns, we may possibly address it at the end through the planning consultant. So with that, I'd like to open a public hearing. I'll make a motion.
Chair, I'm seeing Commissioner Kuzno has a question before we start the public hearing.
Certainly, I did not see that. Mr. Kuzno.
Just want to clarify, we are not taking action on anything tonight regarding these public hearings. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That is correct.
Okay.
And just to state for the benefit of commissioners and for the benefit of people participating this evening, Planning Commission has not scheduled any of these items for discussion tonight. So there will be no discussion or decisions made tonight. What we're hearing tonight is presentations from each applicant. Also, there'll be an opportunity for the public to comment on the site or what they hear from the applicant. Planning Commission will then have until their next meeting to consider this, and we will be scheduling the items for discussion in the future. I may need to restate that again, but I think it's important, and thank you, Commissioner Cousineau, for bringing it up.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Okay, seeing none, make a motion to open case JPC 2002 to recommend approve with conditions or deny the request of GS Ashley LLC, 22 Barker, 9615 Main, Whitmore Lake, for a conditional use to develop the existing structure into adult use and provisioning center. Adult use and provisioning centers are permitted as conditional land use in the WLD district per Article 12, Section 36-340 of the zoning ordinance. Parcel numbers B-02-05-253-005, Zone WLD, Whitmore Lake Downtown District.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Cousineau. I will turn it over to Mr. Lippens to give us a brief summary.
All right, we have presenting for GS Ashley, Sarah Stretchbury, Nathan Podred, James Kahn, and Vince Canals. I see that Sarah has her hand raised. I'm going to allow Sarah to speak now. Sarah, we have you unmuted.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, members of the commission. I'm hoping that I will be able to share my screen and show our presentation that way. Is that allowable?
I think so. I do have your presentation if things don't work, but I can promote you to panelists to do that. I would say if there are others on your team wanting to present, if they could raise their hand too so I can find them easier, or will it just be you, Sarah?
It will be me presenting my screen, and then Nate Podred, James Kahn, and Vince Canales speaking.
Great. I'm seeing James and Nate raising their hand. James and Nate, I'm allowing both of you to speak. And I see you now, and there's Ismail. And Ismail, I allowed you to speak, so we should have you now as well. All right, and then Sarah, what I'm going to do is promote you to panelists so that you can run your presentation. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and promote the other representatives to panelists too, so that they'll have the ability to do video. And I'll do this for the other candidates as well. And then when they're done with their presentation, I will turn off their cameras, etc. So I'm promoting. So now all three of you should be panelists. And you should be able to turn your video on now. All right, there you go. Okay.
Is Vince there as well, Paul?
I have Vince, yes.
Perfect.
There we go. So it's your show. You have 5 minutes, and then we will open it up to the public for comments.
Wonderful.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nate Podred, co-founder of GS Ashley and a 10-year resident of Scioto Township. For more than a year, I've been attending board and planning meetings, spoken with numerous residents and local business owners, and gotten a deep understanding of concerns and local community goals. All of this has informed our vision for GS Ashley at 22 Barker. My colleague, James Kahn, Director of Community Outreach, will discuss our plans in more detail, followed by Chief Security Officer Vince Canales.
Thanks, Nate, and hello, everybody. Let me cut right to the chase. GS Ashley is the right choice for Northfield Township. We have an amazing site and unparalleled expertise. We've operated in the cannabis space for nearly a decade, and in the process have earned the trust and respect of communities throughout Michigan and around the country. As Nate mentioned, our roots in Michigan run deep. We've invested more than $30 million in the state and have another $1 million earmarked for Northfield alone. In 2016, we opened up one of the first provisioning centers in Ann Arbor, where our spotless compliance record and unwavering commitment to community made us a standout success. State regulators took notice, and in 2019, when the decision was made to allow the recreational sale of cannabis in Michigan, GS Ashley was awarded one of the first 3 adult use licenses. Together with our parent company, Holistic Industries, we operate more than 350,000 square feet of state-of-the-art cultivation, processing, and retail facilities in a half-dozen states. We've developed best-in-class training programs and standard operating procedures that have led to an exemplary record of compliance, security, customer satisfaction, and community engagement. We are a company that strives for nothing less than to be the best place to work and shop in cannabis. Central to this vision are our Liberty branded stores. Take a look for yourself. You will see that Liberty stores are first class, high-end, inviting, and secure spaces that blend seamlessly into their surroundings. They're staffed by caring and well-trained professionals who love their jobs. GS Ashley knows what a good job looks like and that it begins with a good wage. It's why we pay well above average, with starting wages ranging from $16 to $21 an hour and salaried positions beginning at $50,000 to $70,000 a year. Both part-time and full-time employees receive benefits including paid time off and sick leave, holiday pay, and a bonus program that provides an average of 2 full weeks' pay. Our full-time staff receive comprehensive health insurance. GS Ashley favors full-time positions and hires from within whenever possible. In fact, the majority of our national leadership team, myself included, were promoted into their positions. I want to emphasize GS Ashley's dedication to supporting the communities that support us. When COVID-19 first struck, we converted our laboratories to be able to produce hand sanitizer and utilized long-standing vendor relationships to donate 6,500 KN95 certified masks, 2,000 of which went to the hardest hit nursing homes in the Detroit suburbs. In Northfield, we will establish the Downtown Whitmore Lake Positive Growth Fund, which we will seed with an initial $25,000 donation and add to on an annual basis based on a percentage of our revenue. I encourage commission members to review the detailed plans GS Ashley laid out in its application and to an extent in the slides that we shared prior to this meeting. And most importantly, I hope that you will read our letters of support written by local business owners, by local residents, nonprofit leaders, as well as by mayors and town administrators who once faced the same choice you do. What you will see again and again is that GS Ashley has a long history of honoring its commitments. It's easy to pull pictures from the internet and check boxes on applications and make statements at meetings, but as letter after letter will attest to, GS Ashley follows through and delivers big.
30 seconds.
I'm going to turn it over very briefly to Vince to discuss our security plan. Vince? Is Vince on the line?
Yes, I am. I'm Vince Canales. I'm a retired law enforcement officer with over 21 years of service in the state of Maryland. I currently serve as the elected state president for the Fraternal Order of Police in Maryland, representing over 21,000 active and retired law enforcement officers. We at GS Ashley utilize the highest quality surveillance cameras available on the market. We ensure 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week continuous monitoring service. We will hire retired law enforcement and military from within the Northfield community and surrounding areas. Our locations are welcoming and provide a safe environment for our customers in the surrounding community, and we work closely with local law enforcement. There are several security overlays and other pertinent security information contained within our presentation for your review. I look forward to continuing this conversation and answering any questions you may have. And we thank you for this opportunity and look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Vince. Appreciate it. Let's see. I am going to, there we go. Thank you. Now, we would start the public hearing part of the presentation. Open it up to residents or business owners from the township or other attendees that wish to speak regarding the G. Ashley proposal. I would ask now for the team to go ahead maybe and just turn your videos off. And if Planning Commission, I'll keep you as panelists for now in case Planning Commission has questions. But I'm just going to open it up for residents to speak at this time. So thank you very much. Appreciate that presentation, and we may have questions. All right, I am seeing in the audience, Keri Valmassei has her hand up. I'm going to allow you to talk, Keri. Keri, you are
can
unmuted.
you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the time for council, and I appreciate all of your concern. I am the Madison Heights Hazel Park Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, and Holistic has been operating in our community for about a year. And I can truly say that they have come through with all of their promises. They have contributed over $12,000 to the community in the past year, and they don't even have a brick and mortar yet. So I would vouch for them. I think that they are honest and true. And to be quite honest, I serve on the board for the Madison Heights Community Coalition, and we are, we're trying to get kids off of drugs. And I have to say that Holistic has actually put money to that to help us. So I vouch for them. If anybody has any questions, you are welcome to call me. Oh, do you want my address?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's 4724 Robinwood, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48073. Our office is 300 West 13 Mile, Madison Heights, 48071 Madison Heights.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I see one other audience. Your handle is Galaxy S20 plus 5G. I'm going to allow you to talk now, Galaxy.
Hi, thanks. Sorry, I forgot to change the writing. My name is Kymm Clark. I'm a councilwoman here at the city of Madison Heights. We recently, well, a year ago, had to face the same decision that you guys are doing, whether or not to allow applicants to open up marijuana facilities in our city. So I just wanted to speak a little bit on how it was not the easiest decision to make in our city. We have a fairly conservative town, and we had a lot of concerned residents who weren't sure about bringing this to the area. So we developed a point system for potential applicants that we could make sure provided a safe opportunity for them to open up in our city, as well as that they would be not just opening up a marijuana business in our city, but contributing to the community as well. So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about our experience with GS Ashley. COVID-19 sort of threw everything into a loop in terms of them opening, but they took down like a giant blighted eyesore of a building that was here in the city of Madison Heights in order to build their property. That has been leveled to the ground. The area is clean right now, waiting for development. So the city's very excited to have a very large portion that was blighted in our area already start to show that it is developing and going to be beautiful. Their plans are beautiful, and we're excited about that. But one of the things that we wanted to focus on was their community outreach and their sponsorship programs that they had throughout the city. They donated 32 trees for Arbor Day, which was the huge something huge that we were trying to do in our city, to get some of the old dying trees in our city out and bring new trees in that would bring life into the city, and they helped us out with that. They contributed over $5,000 to the arts board that would actually go to pay for a mural on one of our park buildings. They donated more than 2,000 certified masks for the hard-hit area in our nursing homes. They partnered with the Madison Heights Community Coalition to create initiatives to prevent minors from using cannabis, because the biggest concern that we had from the parents and the elderly in our community was, how are we going to keep it from the kids? So not only did we create an area, a green zone in our city to make sure that these were spaced far enough away from residential areas and schools to keep this away from the kids, but they are contributing to the initiatives to prevent minors from using it, which we respect very much. They found a youth-focused campaign that's proven record success called Weed Can Wait. It's a brainchild of the League of School Communicators, a Washington State-based agency specializing in education. You can check it out, Google it, it's amazing. They're donating to the MHCC to help cover these costs. They also created an in-store campaign educating customers with kids on how to secure their cannabis. They developed art cards. They are aimed at catching customers' attention by creating branded lock boxes, which will be available at various price points for them. So we really appreciate the effort that they've gone to address some of our neighbors' concerns about what's going to happen when you bring marijuana to the community. Marijuana industry is still very new to Madison Heights. We still really don't know like how it's going to work out in terms of it being available for sale and how that's going to turn out. But 2/3 of our community voted in favor for medical marijuana and recreational marijuana. So we know it's welcome to the community. We know we have put it in a safe place. Oh, thank you. Sorry. Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's basically it. Our relationship with them so far has been great. We've yet to see what it's going to turn out because COVID put a wrench in things in terms of them being able to open. But we're excited to see how they develop, and we'll be keeping our eye on that. I have been to their facility in Ann Arbor. It is very clean, professional. Staff is kind and knowledgeable.
Thank you for your testimony, Ms. Clark. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Lower your hand. I'm not seeing any attendees. Oh, I'm seeing one. Two that would like to speak with regards to the GS Ashley site. Adam, I think you were the first to raise your hands. I'm going to allow you to talk. You have the floor, Adam. Please state your address, and you've got 3 minutes.
Adam Olney, Whitmore Lake resident still. First, I just want to thank GS Ashley for the presentation. When this first became a ballot issue, they partnered with some local residents and were very helpful in informing the public of what it could look like or the potential for one, and kind of eliminating some of those fears that some of the community members had. And I think it was the public was really receptive to it. Other than that, I was just wondering if GS Ashley had any plans for the facility if they did not get the license. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just remind everyone that it's not really a Q&A, but Planning Commission may choose to answer questions or direct questions to the applicants if they choose. But I do appreciate your comments and questions, Adam. Thank you. I'm going to mute Adam now. I see JR raised their hands, would like to speak. JR, I'm allowing you to talk now.
Hello.
There you go. I got you unmuted.
Okay.
now.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Bill Rohr, and I live at 9610 Main Street, directly across the street from the site that we were just discussing. And I know this is not a Q&A, and I actually may end up apologizing, but I need a clarification. The title of this discussion, or what we're discussing here, the license, is a use and provisioning center. And I have been led to believe that there is no, these are not consumption centers, that these are retail outlets only. And I guess I just like clarification on what exactly is the intended use of the site. Is it consumption and retail, or is it just retail? It puzzles me that the title is use and provisioning.
Mr. Rohr, through the chair, may I answer that question?
Yes.
So just in the interest, in case of question, adult use is a term for the sale of retail marijuana. Provisioning center is a term for the sale of medical marijuana. None of the cases this evening are for consumption establishments. So your understanding, Mr. Rohr, is correct.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted clarification. The terminology is a little puzzling. So, okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. And I am muting you now, Mr. Rohr. I appreciate your comments. And now I am not seeing anyone with their hand raised. Chair, I would turn it back to you. Oh, someone's coming in here. I got two more raise their hands. So again, just to remind the audience, this is the GS Ashley public hearing. I'm going to allow now Drillin to speak. Drillin, I'm allowing you to talk. Please state your name and address. 3 minutes.
Hi, yes, I live at 17 Anna Drive, and I'm just concerned with all these people who are coming from other states.
Sir, can you state your name?
Yes, Dylan Atkinson.
Dylan. Thank you, Dylan.
Yes. My only concern with some of these people who are coming from out of states, it looked like a lot of them still had Michigan establishments just coming up. I just really want to see a lot of growth in our community, since a lot of stuff hasn't been happening in a while. I've been here for 20 years of my life, grown up here, probably know a bunch of different nooks and crannies that have been developed. So I'd just really like to see some more development coming out of this company into our community. That's my only concern.
Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate your comments. If you are finished, I'll move on to the next person. Thank you, Dylan. The next person I see with their hand raised is Dee Eberhard. Dee, I'm going to allow you to speak now. Please state your name and address, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. I'm working to unmute you. I'll give it one more shot. I'm trying to unmute you, Dee. Oh, there you go. Can you hear me, Dee?
So what I wanted to say is we can hear two voices, the person who's speaking, and we can also hear this background. It sounds like what someone had previously said was recorded, and we're hearing a loop of exactly what was presented a few minutes ago.
Okay, I guess I would remind myself included, just in case others are experiencing the what Dee is mentioning. Let's just all mute ourselves myself included, when another is talking. Thank you for pointing that out, Dee. Was that your only comment?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right. I am now not seeing anyone else raise their hand. Chair, I would turn it back to you. If you have questions for the applicants, or if you would like to conclude the public hearing.
Just for clarification, if the applicant could answer the one question, if no license was given out for this location, what would be the possibility? That perhaps the applicant can answer that.
Currently, we have no plans, as we would not own the building without the license.
Okay, any other commissioners? Okay, seeing none, I make a motion to close public hearing on case JPC 200002.
I'll support.
Supported by Ms. Chick. Any questions, comments on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. We will move on to case B, which is JPC 200004. Recommend to approve with conditions, or deny the request of Great Lakes Logistical Experts, LLC, 587 West Northfield Church Road, Ann Arbor, Michigan, for a Class A marijuana grow facility. Class A marijuana grow facilities are permitted as a conditional land use in the AR Agricultural District per Article 6, Section 36-157 of the zoning ordinance. The parcel number is B-02-31-100-010 and zoned AR Agricultural District. I have support.
Support.
Supported by Ms. Chick. Once again, Mr. Lippens, we'll go to you if you'd like a short summary, or we can go to the applicant.
Paul, you're muted.
Thank you so much. That's the problem when you got to speak a lot and mute yourself, but I'll remember. The one comment I would make about this case is this is actually the only case on the agenda tonight that is for a grow facility. All the other cases are for retail and or provisioning. This case is for a grow facility. I believe in the audience, I did see that one of the applicants, Angela Azar, was here. I'm going to start by allowing Angela to speak, and then she can help let me know if others on her team are here. And Angela, I have you unmuted.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Brant Johnson's here. He's going to do our PowerPoint.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to promote you, Angela, to panelist. Brant, I see you've raised your hands. I'm going to allow you to talk. And Brant, I'm promoting you to panelist. Now, both Angela and Brant, you are panelists now, and you should be able to turn your video on to address the commission if you wish. All right, and Brant is sharing his screen. Fantastic. So when you're ready, please introduce yourself, and you have 5 minutes to present. We'll give you a second to get up where you want to be.
All right, I was muted. And all right. Good evening, all, and I want to thank you all for the opportunity for me and Angela Azar to speak with you tonight regarding Great Lakes Logistical Experts. My name is Brant Johnson, and I've been working with the Azar family for a number of years. Great Lakes Logistical Experts is a small family operation. It was founded by Amy Azar and her mother Eileen, and they've been in the Northfield, Pinckney area doing business for the last 20 years. And I've been fortunate enough to meet them. The entire family is involved with the Great Lakes Logistical Experts operation. As to the general management is James and Angela Azar, which I believe you all have had the opportunity to meet them. They have been wonderful people. So Great Lakes Logistical Experts intends to be a 500 plant grow facility in Northfield. It's located at 587 West Northfield Church Road. It's proposed to be a grow facility in the agricultural districts in Northfield Township. They allow Class A grows for which Great Lakes Logistical Experts has applied to. Now it is over 1,000 feet from prohibited areas such as schools, churches, parks, daycare centers. The nearest facility, the nearest school is 3,400 feet, and the nearest church is 2,750 feet. It is carefully located and positioned, and you all have the site plans for which the facility is located. So it should fit the zoning requirements set forth by Northfield Township. Now, as a family business, Great Lakes Logistical Experts, for which we call GLLE, pledges to be a good neighborhood, and a good neighbor in their neighborhood. They have shown this in their Great Lakes Logistical Experts trimming plant. The original Great Lakes Logistical Experts spawned from Mr. Azar, who does metal trimming, and they have a plant in Northville, and they have believed to be a good neighbor, and they believe that it's important to be a good neighbor in the community, such that they plan on planting evergreen for privacy trees so that they won't interfere with their neighbors surrounding the area. In communications with some of the neighbors in the neighborhood, privacy to the east and west was important for the neighbors. So Great Lakes Logistical Experts spoke with them, and they promised that they will be planting a lot of evergreen trees for privacy. In addition, they have had conversations with other neighbors, and just to be cognizant of the neighborhood considerations, for traffic, there have been questions as to how the traffic would be. Throughout the medical marijuana history in the industry, when you speak of medical marijuana, most people initially think of dispensaries and places that are heavily trafficked. However, in the grow facility is a less conspicuous facility. And the main traffic that's going to be involved with the first few months is for construction. And once the construction dies down, there will be primarily just frequent trucks for delivery. All activities will be conducted indoors, and there will probably be less traffic at the facility than your average home, because it will probably just be workers in the morning, and if there's some deliveries throughout the day, that's primarily it. Great Lakes Logistical
Johnson.
Yes.
About 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So they have agreed to a community benefits plan with Whitmore Lakes Foundation Educational Excellence. And I wanted to give Ms. Azar an opportunity to speak too. So Angela? Is Ms. Azar there?
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I invited a friend of mine from the school board to come here to help support us tonight. And he was busy because they had conflicting meetings. And it just reminded me of the fact that the school needs our help more than ever. So I'm just so thankful to be able to partner with them. And it really is a big deal for us to be very good neighbors. So I'm very thankful for the neighbors that I have met, and I'm looking forward to meeting the ones that I haven't.
So we look forward to answering any of the questions that the board may have upon review of our plans. And we thank you for this opportunity to speak. And we intend to be a good neighbor and to fulfill all the rules of Northfield Township.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I would ask, let's see, for you, stop sharing, there we go. Mr. Johnson and Ms. Azar, I'd ask for you to just turn your video off, but we're going to keep you as panelists in case Planning Commission has questions. And then through the chair, I believe it's time to open it up to the public for comments. Again, this is for people who would like to make comments on the Great Lakes Logistical Experts proposal for a Class A marijuana grow facility at 587 West Northfield Church Road. The first person I'm seeing with their hand raised is Dee Eberhard. Dee, I'm going to unmute you now and allow you to speak. Please state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. Dee?
Hi, this is Margo Hosford, and I'm across the street at 611 West Northfield Church Road. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. So my husband John and I are the immediate neighbors to the Azars on the west side. And we have 3 main concerns. One is crime, second one is property value decrease, and the third is traffic. 34 years ago, we bought the Maier Centennial farm and moved our new family from a crowded and loud neighborhood in Ann Arbor to the country. Now our safe and quiet lifestyle is at risk if the Azars of Great Lakes Logistics are allowed to operate a drug farm literally on our property line. Angela told us their marijuana would be harvested as often as once a month. She said the drugs will be taken off property in armored trucks, which means they anticipate potential armed robberies. These vehicles will be driving next door to our patio. Marijuana growers often deal in large amounts of cash because marijuana is still against the federal law. Another potential for theft and violence next door to our home. For criminals, the easiest access to the Azars' 10,000 square foot grow facility is down our west equipment driveway on the far side of our barns, and then hang a left and cut across our pasture, literally right to the building. From inside our home, we can't see our west driveway. Angela says they will have security surveillance, but who is responsible for the cost of our security system, which will have to be installed due to potential crime? Will we have bright lights shining in our windows all night, every night? In our 34 years in this wonderful township, we have only had 1 incident of crime. That was about 20 years ago when our lawnmower was stolen. This leads to our next issue. Our largest asset is our home, and now our property value will dramatically decrease. Will you be lowering our property taxes if we have a drug growing facility next door? We were told it takes a tremendous amount of water and electricity to grow marijuana. How does this impact our well and electricity? Will we have enough water? Will it be polluted by the chemicals used to grow the marijuana? Will we have electrical brownouts? And our last issue. Over the years, we have watched our neighborhood grow. It has done so without ruining our peaceful rural surroundings due to the township's thoughtful zoning. For the most part, new homes in our area are built on large quantities of land, which allows us to be in a neighborhood while maintaining the rural landscape. The Azars told us they were planning for themselves and 2 other of their families to build next door. When reviewing their site plans, there's only 1 site for a home. They also told us they don't plan to build for 3 to 5 years. So does this mean they're planning to use the land solely for commercial operation? How many employees will be in and out of their driveway every day? And we want to be clear, we are not against grow facilities if they are in an industrial or commercial area, not in neighborhoods, even agriculturally zoned. And one of the features that makes Northfield Township so unique is its landscape and lifestyle diversity. We have the beauty and serenity of its rural farm areas coupled with recreational activities at Whitmore Lake.
Margo, you've gone over 30 seconds.
Okay, my family has had a home on Whitmore Lake since 1902. My mother currently lives on the lake. As we stated, we love this township, so please don't ruin it by allowing a marijuana grow facility to be next door to the place we call home. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Margo. I have muted you now. I see 3 people with their hands raised now. Well, now 4. The next person I have is Kris Kraft. Kris, I am unmuting you.
Hello.
Please state your name and address. And you have.
My name is Kris Kraft. I live at 395 West Northfield Church. And we are in the closest proximity to the marijuana farm, other than the Hosfords. We are literally next door. It was interesting to see the presentation that the company put on. I think it was the attorney said it will be less than as close as a family home. This will literally be in my backyard. I have been a firefighter and risked my life for this township. And I think it is absolutely appalling that you would let something like this happen in a residential area where there's 16 kids. It is right down the street from St. Pat's Church. Every day, kids from the school at St. Pat's come running down the street. If you think it's so safe, why are there armored cars, which is in your statutes, that are going to be picking it up? Why is it so safe when you're saying it needs 24-hour cameras? When she got up and she said she went to every neighbor in the neighborhood and talked to them, that is absolutely crazy. I sent you a petition with 40 names, and all 40 of them said, no, this is not the right place. We are not anti-marijuana people. We are very happy. I even offered her land on our 100-acre hunting preserve to put the thing over there. We don't want it in our backyard, and I think this is an insult to the taxpayers in this area. Yes, I know that this was approved. Yes, I know there's a place for it. But I've got children. There are so many safety concerns. And I don't know if anyone's been out here, but when I responded as a firefighter for 6 years, the closest place was Station 2. I drove all the way out to Station 2 to get a fire truck. Because I was so close to all the responding area, there's no other firefighters out here. There's no one out here. I went directly to the scene and coordinated the scene. So if you think this is the safest and best choice, wait till November, because in November, if you say yes, your name will be noted. Thank you very much, and God bless America.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. I do appreciate this. And the next I have with their hand raised is Craig Warburton. Craig, I am allowing you to speak. I'm unmuting you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir. Please
Oh, sweet. My name's Craig Warburton. I live at 450 West Joy Road. Technically, we live about 2,000 feet north of Joy Road. We live quite a distance off the road. And we'll be able to see this facility quite literally in the wintertime once the leaves are off. You know, we live in an agricultural area. It's a little inappropriate to call it a neighborhood. We're big houses with huge yards. Yeah, and it's maybe by definition, if someone was putting a pig farm in, you'd have no grounds to fight it, but it's not. It's an agricultural operation that's going to be completely indoors. I have grave concerns about these individuals doing it, but I'm firmly behind doing it in this area. It belongs here and certainly not around dense housing. The plan that was submitted to Northfield Township seems to be woefully deficient of any lighting schedules, any security schedules. I understand that it's up for a public hearing next week to split the property into 3 parcels and put more houses on it, which is sort of a curious turn of events if you're really still considering the application as it was submitted. I have concerns that the drawings that were submitted don't identify where the fans are going to be. The drawing represents 4 or 5 grow rooms that I doubt they're going to share air spaces. I think they're probably going to have voracious blowers. I have visited some grow facilities outside of Ann Arbor that were very professional installations, and you could stand outside and not know it was there. I'm very concerned about light pollution. There's no reason to bomb that in with light 24 hours a day. We don't need the look of a new gas station on Northfield Church Road. Security cameras are often better in the dark than they are illuminated. I didn't see fencing on the property. I saw tremendous amounts of wetland. Quite honestly, it's a very big building. There were some just paperwork errors in what I saw submitted. The address wasn't even correct on some of the documents. I'm very concerned that it's not being done professionally, that it's that there's no plan for how much wattage is going to be running and how they intend to cool it and where they intend to vent that air and how big the charcoal.
30 seconds.
I think the neighbors should be at peace that the state of Michigan has such rigid controls on this stuff that it should be invisible. The problem is Northfield Township has a profound history of not enforcing things very well. And that's a concern. There you have it. I'm firmly behind the marijuana business. I think the agricultural area is the place to grow things. I see no reason why this can't be an invisible thing and not make a peep of a noise and not attract much traffic. Thank you for your time. I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Warburton. Appreciate your comments. And I'm going to mute you now. And the next person on the list to speak is Douglas Dorfler. Douglas, I am unmuting you, allowing you to speak. Please state your name and address. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Douglas Dorfler, I'm at 6449 Linton Way. Unlike some of the other speakers, I just moved to this area. I work for a company that's been headquartered in Silicon Valley for over 40 years and has just opened an office in Ann Arbor after having bought land from the University of Michigan. I never stepped foot within 3,000 miles of where I now live up until 8 months ago. My company asked me if I wanted to relocate here. I showed up, I looked at the area, and within 2 days got a hold and said, yes, absolutely. I looked for probably 40 different properties last fall before buying at 6449 Linton Way. From what I'm used to, where I grew up on the West Coast, where land is an absolute premium, for me to be working the job I am working, being close to the University of Michigan, and on a piece of property that I think is absolute paradise, is just unbelievable that I found this. I'm 100% a proponent of legalizing marijuana, but I think the biggest thing is one of the conditional use statements is that conditional use need to be harmonious and appropriate in appearance with the existing or intended character of the general vicinity. I do not think this neighborhood is where something like this belongs. I look around, I look at my neighbors. There's several pieces of property all around me, ranging from 5 acres to about 40. This is not really farmland where I'm at. Most of my neighbors don't actually farm their land. They're beautiful manicured lawns. They just want a bigger place than, you know, a townhouse or a small lot on a small house. And so, like I said, this to me is a beautiful residential area on slightly bigger lots than what you would find. Again, going back to that conditional use of general vicinity, I am not at all against marijuana grow operations. I do not think this is the right location for it. This is a beautiful residential neighborhood. And again, all of the other concerns other people brought up, there was absolutely no mention in their presentation of how many employees they're actually going to have. I look at Northfield, you know, the road right out in front of my property. This road is a short road that pretty much only has local residents on it, except for people biking, hiking, horses, and other than that, very little traffic on this road. I cannot reiterate that or iterate strong enough that,
Douglas, you're at time.
again, I'm not against this. I just don't think this is the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your comments. I'm going to mute you. And next we have, with their hand raised, Sue Shink and Tom Hatch. Sue and Tom, I'm going to allow you to speak. Please state your name and address.
Good evening. So Sue Shink and Tom Hatch. We live at 600 West Joy Road, which is directly south of the proposed use at 587 West Northfield Church. I am not necessarily against the use. I am very concerned about the fact that McKenna has noted that there are a number of issues that have not been addressed appropriately, and I would ask that the township make sure that those issues are addressed to satisfaction before any movement is made on the proposal. As next door neighbors, we are concerned that the applicants create the least possible light pollution, the least possible noise, and that the natural features that are very important and integrally connected to the natural features on our land are maintained and protected. And that includes a wetland that, at least in the past, has been federally protected. I see that with the road proposal that wetlands will be protected or will be impacted. So I ask you to double check that. We're very interested in compliance and enforcement. This is a neighborhood. There are a lot of young children who live nearby, and those young children need to be able to go out on their bikes and to be able to ride around our neighborhood and walk through the woods without having to have their parents escort them and without having to worry about armed conflict, which, you know, I don't really think is going to happen, but I think sometimes we have to think about kind of what could happen, and is this the right place to take those kinds of risks? I want the township to consider the impact of the project on the closest neighbors, the Hosfords and the Krafts. It's a horrible thing if you live in a place and then you become uncomfortable in that place, and it's not so easy just to pick up and move. So I would ask you to consider all of those things. And I'm also nervous that the addition of a private drive seems excessive for this size parcel. So those complete my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue and Tom. I appreciate your comments. And the next person with their hand raised is Suzy Wienckowski. Suzy, I'm going to allow you to speak and unmute you. Please state your name. And you have 3 minutes. One more time, trying to unmute you. Trying again to unmute you. There you are. Suzy, we should be able to hear you now.
Okay.
We've got you.
Good evening. I'll be brief. I encourage the Planning Commission to deny the application from Greg's Logistical Experts to conduct the grow operation on West Northfield Church Road. Pot growing operations consist of large, enclosed, and secured buildings, in contrast to the open fields of traditional agriculture. So in a sense, they are more industrial than they are agricultural, better suited to the areas zoned in that way as industrial or commercial. This particular location, as other people have said, is really more of a large residential lot area. There's hardly anyone out here farming, so it seems particularly out of place here. And in between the Hosfords and the Krafts, it's a narrow lot. I don't know if any of you have been out here, but it's almost like it would be shoved right in between these two houses. So it seems particularly inappropriate here. And I think it would definitely
I think Suzy was, we lost her, but we appreciate the comments that we did hear. Thank you. And the next person I have with their hand raised is Brian Gimmety. Brian, I am unmuting you, allowing you to speak. You please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Great. Can you hear me?
We can.
To confirm that. Brian Gimmety. I live at 200 West Northfield Church Road. We're kind of midway between the church and the proposed facility, 3 doors down from the Krafts. We moved here recently, about a year ago. Would view this more as, I mean, I know there's a spirit of the law and the letter of the law, but our 4 kids go to the church or go to the school, walk there. They also go to the church and play there quite a bit. Our bike down that road all the time, go look at the horses and other, you know, the horse farm that's down the road. And we traffic that a lot. We deeply appreciate the neighborhood nature of where we live. And I don't know if technically it's a neighborhood or farming community, but we feel very much like they can go down and see the Kraft kids. They can go down and visit people. This is an environment where our kids are free to go back and forth. And all I can say is, by putting that facility in there, it's going to completely change the dynamic. I would echo all the concerns everybody else has said around property values, around security, around traffic. Traffic's a big one for us because, you know, you got your kids on bikes, you feel good about it, and all of a sudden you've got what I would say is more of an industrial and an agricultural facility where you got trucks coming in and out, you got security, you got lights. It just, I would urge you to really consider the spirit of what this is, which is a neighborhood. And I would say that without doubt. I've got, you know, we're invested there. We've got kids that walk around there, and this does not seem right. I would urge the council to deny this permit. And I want to be clear, we were never reached out to by the Azars. We found about this from Kris. I think everybody on that petition on the whole road would be pretty much unanimously against this facility. But we were never reached out. We didn't know, I would never know this was going to happen if it wasn't for Kris coming by and Kris coming by and telling us about it. So just a point of fact on that. But you know, that's our opinion. That's where we're weighing in. We've got 4 kids under 16, and we're really concerned about this decision and both security impacts and other things. I have nothing else to say really at this stage.
Thank you, Mr. Gimmety. We appreciate your comments. And I am going ahead and muting you. The next person with their hand raised is Carol Yarrington. Carol, I am allowing you to speak now. Unmuting you. There you go. Carol, please state your name and address. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name's Carol Yarrington. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Sorry, thank you. My name's Carol Yarrington. I live at 5450 Hellner Road. We're around the corner between Northfield Church and Joy Road. I'd like you, the Planning Commission, first of all, to tell you thank you for allowing us to speak and to listen to all of the concerns voiced tonight. I would like to share that the health and the safety of the community, I know, is your #1 concern. I know that the township has supported the the development of grow facilities to help support the community and see positives in that. I have to echo the concerns of most of the people who spoke tonight that I think the particular location that has been identified for this facility is a big swing and a miss. It's 300 feet wide, and you're talking about a 100 by 100 foot building plopped in the middle, just then a few hundred feet from 2 homes that have been there. I also find concern that the home is a proposed future site of a home and that we're not requiring them to build a home before this building is in place, as someone who has recently built a home before the barn. The community, this is a community. It's people are sharing their mind. They're supporting the Krafts and the Hosfords, that this doesn't belong in this space. There is a lot of other land in Northfield Township that would be more suitable to this facility. And what I would encourage these folks who really want to be in Northfield Township to build your home on that site on Northfield Church. Do that. And then buy additional land that's not in the middle of homes for your grow facility. Please, when you do that, be concerned about how you control and comply with the ordinances of the township to keep noise reduced, because there is a noise ordinance. And so for the commission, I would please ask that if this facility at any time during the time of the permit abuses the noise abatement, that the noise ordinance, that they are shut down. And can they control odor? What type of odor equipment do they have going along with, thank you, going along with not having enough information about what's proposed in this bill? If there are nuisances to the community, you will be shut down. We will expect that the township will enforce this. And when you get the phone call, you'll have somebody come out and enforce it. So please consider moving in, building your beautiful home on Northfield Church Road, and building your Grow A facility at another site in Northfield Township. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you, Carol, for your comments. We appreciate you coming out to speak. I'm going to mute you again and lower your hand. And I see Suzy Wienckowski has her hand raised. She was cut off. I'm going to allow her to maybe finish her comments. I'm unmuting you, Suzy. Are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
I think you had about a minute left when you got cut off, so please.
Okay, all right, yes. Thank you for letting me speak again. I just had one more point to make, and that is that it was very disconcerting that the sign posted to notify the neighbors seemed quite purposefully hidden from view, nearly invisible when you were driving by. And so it didn't seem like it was put up in compliance or in the spirit of the law. So that was a little disconcerting for those of us in this neighborhood. So that was all I wanted to say. I thank you for your consideration of these issues in evaluating this application, and encourage you to deny it. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzy. Appreciate it. And now I see Tom Wesolowski. I'm sure I maybe didn't pronounce that right. Oh, all right, hold on. Okay, Mr. Wasilowski, it looks like you're running an older version of Zoom. So I am going to promote you to panelist briefly to allow you to speak. We want to get your comments. So I'm going to also unmute you. And you have 3 minutes, sir. Please state your name and address.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Paul. My name is Father Tom Wasilewski. It's a Polish name. And I live at 5671 Whitmore Lake Road, crossing with Northfield Church Road. I'm the pastor of Old St. Pat's here. I've been here for 3.5 years. And I recently found out also about this proposed marijuana farm down the street from us. I want to point out just a couple things about it. It is only half a mile. It's actually 0.51 miles from the church on the same side that our parish center is located on down the road. And we are really the closest parking lot or a place where somebody might think of, dropping off their car and taking a hike to this farm. So I'm definitely concerned about this. I agree with the others that this may not be the best neighborhood for such a establishment. Old St. Patrick is featured on the Northfield Township website, where it says come explore Northfield Township. Our campus is featured on there, our cemetery. We have been here for over 175 years. The building was built in 1878. It's a very historic church that is a great blessing, I think, for the township, for the area. We've worked on our parking lot. We've worked on our campus here to upkeep it and to make it beautiful. And we are happy to be neighbors. And I'm very concerned that we have a homeschool cooperative that operates out of our parish hall with children from grades 2 to about high school, with about 100 children that come here 3 times a week. So this is very concerning to me. I would ask the commissioners to consider denying this request. Also, as a pastor, as a Christian man, I have many concerns about drug use and the kinds of moral decisions that can lead one to. I don't think it's such a great thing. The church teaches that it can be a very dangerous thing when it comes to our moral life, our Christian life. And so those are about all the comments I'll have tonight. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Father Tom. Appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and also, let's see. Sorry, I'm just changing Father Tom's role back to attendee. We appreciate your comments. Thank you. I am now seeing Kathy Dunbar has her hand raised. Kathy, I am allowing you to speak. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name. Kathy.
Thank you. My name is Kathy Dunbar, and I am a Lansing City Council member. And I'm checking in with you on behalf of Michigan Pure Green. They had asked me to share if you had any questions about our experience working with them in the city of Lansing. And we were one of the first cities to open up applications for marijuana,
Kathy.
and I helped draft that.
Kathy?
Yes.
I apologize for interrupting you, but right now on the agenda, we are in a public hearing for Great Lakes logistical experts. So now would not be the appropriate time to speak on Michigan Pure Green.
I apologize. In our city council meetings, we handle all hearings at once. So when I read your agenda, I didn't know how you do it. So I apologize, and I will wait my turn.
It's okay. I explained that at the beginning, but I haven't said it in quite a bit. So okay. I'll go ahead and mute you, but do feel free to chime in. Or if you had a comment on Great Lakes logistics, you could make it, but it doesn't sound like you would. So I'm going ahead and muting you. And lowering your hand. There we go. And I do not see anyone else with their hand raised to speak on this case. So I would turn it back to the chair to see if you have any follow-up questions for the applicant. I do probably have a comment as well, but I'll turn it over to you first.
Yes, I'd like to hear your comment, and I want to give opportunity to the applicant to address any of the concerns that were brought forth from the public. And if they could limit that to 3 minutes also, it would be appreciated.
Thank you, Chair. So, and I think my comment will also be something that the applicant can address. It was brought up by Suzy, I believe, that the sign placement was hard to view. That comment was provided via email as well. So we have some written letters to that effect, including some residents that took video and photos and forwarded it to the township. For Planning Commission, I would say that my take on this is the applicant is not permitted to put their sign in the right of way. So my interpretation is they made a good faith effort to meet the requirements, but Planning Commission may want to hear from the applicant about their sign placement as well. And just for the purpose of the commissioners, so that you know what your could be, is if you find that you agree that the sign was not visible, you could reschedule hearing. But certainly we have gotten a lot of comments from the neighbors. So I think people were aware of the site. But I do think Ms. Azar and Mr. Johnson, if you could sign placement, it might help for some of the people who have attended the meetings to know what your, how your decision was made in terms of sign placement. And then Commissioner Dwyer, since you have your hand raised, just please confirm that you'd like to hear from the applicant first, or is your question something you'd like them to address?
No, I can wait. You can go ahead.
Thank you, sir. All right, so Mr. Johnson and Ms. Azar, the chair has asked you, given you 3 minutes to respond to anything you heard from the applicants. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Well, quite briefly, we appreciate all the comments that the community has said, and we do respect all of their comments. First and foremost, and I'm going to give most of the floor to Ms. Azar. First and foremost, Great Lakes Logistical Experts has followed the rules for application. They have followed the rules for location. They have provided an application that scored well. There are state and local security measures that they will follow as implemented by the rules. They have the adequate financial wherewithal to implement all of the things that they promised. They understand the concerns of the communities. However, we don't want people to get, the impression that they intend to impede on minors. The facility is over 2,000 feet from the nearest school. They plan to put security gates up. So they intend to follow all the rules implemented by Northfield Township. But Ms. Azar is a mother. She's I'm gonna give the floor to Ms. Azar. Go ahead, Angela.
Yeah, so just to clarify what Kris Kraft said, thank you guys, thank you all for speaking again. I believe what I said, and if I didn't say this correctly, I apologize, but I did speak with a few neighbors, and the ones that I haven't spoke with, I'm looking forward to meeting with. But the neighbors that I did speak with seemed very comfortable engaging conversation with me. We do plan on building a home for ourselves. I have 2 children and 1 on the way. Security is very important to us, obviously. I wouldn't want to raise my kids in a place that was unsafe. That was the reason we purchased the property, and we're sticking true to that. We also are developing, hopefully, the back of the property, which is why the road has to be so large. And we're going through the permitting phase, which is why I think it's a little bit confusing to people when you look at it. That's phase 2, only because we have to go through EGLE, Environmental Great Lakes and Energy, and that is a longer process. So we're actually in the road permitting phase right now through Northfield Township, and that I think is public too, so everybody can look at that. So behind there is going to be my mom. She's going to have a house too, and my brother and their 3 children. So we also hope to be part of the community. We also want it to be a very safe place. The traffic is really not a concern personally. My brother-in-law is the master grower. He gave us some really great perspective on what that might look like. We hope to manage it, so that means that we hope to spend a lot of time doing the day-to-day stuff. So we do hope to build our home soon. That's really up to like the permitting phase and when we can build my mom's and my brother's. We all intend to do that. Like I said, that's very important. So I know this is like a very big project. It's very difficult to see if you just look at the marijuana site plan, which is phase 1. I'm sure you guys all have access to that.
And in addition to it all, this facility is not going to be heavily trafficked with like it is a plant facility with Big Mac trucks coming in and out. All of the vehicles that may transport the medical marijuana won't be armored vehicles. The state of Michigan doesn't require you to have armored vehicles for transportation. People may use some armored vehicles just because they want the public to be safe, not necessarily because they want to keep, Great Lakes Logistical safe. So they just may want to keep the public safe. But as far as conducting business, there has been no statistical statistics that said that these facilities have decreased property in the vicinity. There's been no statistic that support that increased crime has been the result of these facilities. So the Azars are a family organization. They are a family business. It was founded by Angela's mother-in-law, and they intend to be a good neighbor because they are a family-run operation. If you go near it with the Azars, there's nothing but children and family involved. They do not want to diminish the neighborhood. Northfield Township granted the opportunity to have facilities in agricultural districts, and this is agricultural districts. A marijuana grow is agriculture. It is not building cars.
Mr. Johnson, unfortunately, we have to interrupt you. That's been 5 minutes, so we appreciate the response.
Thank you so much.
Could you briefly, maybe in 15 seconds, address your sign placement? How did you choose where you put your sign?
Yeah, we put it on the nearest street to the road. I took a picture and sent it to Mary Bird as soon as we put it up. I'm sorry, 4 feet off the road. Yeah, so as far as the picture saw, it looked like I could read it. I haven't driven by it lately, so I don't know what that looks like now, I guess. I'm curious what the videos and pictures look like. But I also have a picture, so.
Thank you. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to address it.
Thank you.
It's certainly a challenge, but you can't put it in the right of way. And I do know there are a lot of people that came to the meeting, so certainly the word got out. Again, commissioners, if you found that sign wasn't placed according to our rules, we could schedule another public hearing on the issue. We don't have to make that decision this evening, but the issue has been raised, and I wanted to give the applicant an opportunity to address it as well. So thank you, and I'll turn it back to the chair.
Thank you. Anything from any other commissioners?
2 points of clarification, if I may. Do you currently own the property, I think you said, or do you have a purchase option?
We own it.
And have you previously or currently operated any similar facility?
GLLE has operated previous facilities.
And where might they be?
Well, actually, GLLE has not. The grower was, who is my brother-in-law, managed and set up one of the first Class C grow facilities in Michigan. And so this is their first attempt at a family business. They also are in the permitting phase up in Pinconning right now, where they intend to put up a few more Class Cs as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any others? Seeing none, I make a motion to close case JPC 200004, close the public hearing. Do I have support?
Support.
By Ms. Chick. By Ms. Chick, it appears. Thank you, Ms. Infante, also. And with that, we will go to the next case. Make a motion to open case JPC 200005 to recommend to approve with conditions or deny the request of Green Guys Group 9545-9551 Main Street, Whitmore Lake, for conditional use to develop the existing structure into a retail provisioning center. Retail and provisioning centers are permitted as a conditional land use in the WLDD district per Article 12, Section 36-340 of the zoning ordinance. The parcel numbers B-02-05-254-023 and zone WLDD Whitmore Lake Downtown District.
I'll support.
Supported by Ms. Chick. I'll turn it over to Mr. Lippens.
Thank you, Chair. I see Mr. Lewis has his hand raised. I believe he's representing the applicant on this issue. Mr. Lewis, I'm going to allow you to speak. Mr. Lewis, is there anyone from your team presenting this evening?
I will be presenting.
Okay, I'm going to promote you to panelist. And you should be able to start your video now.
We're good.
And starting the screen sharing, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Good evening, Northfield Township Planning Commission and residents. I'm Michael Lewis, Managing Partner of Treehouse Wellness, accompanied by our fellow Managing Partner, Matthew Ritz. Please allow us to first and foremost thank you all for the opportunity to present our proposed plans at tonight's public hearing. Our collective team has been together for over 6 years with our hearts and minds set upon opening a medical and recreational provisioning center within this respective area. As the vote passed allowing marijuana businesses to operate in Northfield Township, Matt and I jumped in our cars that following Saturday morning to learn more about the township and the opportunities ahead. Since then, we have joined nearly every Board of Trustee, Planning Commission, and DDA meeting, acquiring a plethora of knowledge about the township and its residents. You may ask yourselves, why us? Why Treehouse Wellness? Let us first start with the Downtown Development Beautification Project. Let's face it, we can all agree that our building is an eyesore to the community, holding back neighboring businesses from additional growth and prosperity. As our vision coincides with that of the Northfield Township Master Plan, these renovation plans boast additional parking, which is accompanied by an easement that connects Main Street and Barker for vehicle and pedestrian traffic, an additional retail business storefront, which is non-marijuana related, alongside various amenities for residents and neighboring businesses, all of which enable the ease of access for the residents and patrons, thus promoting fluent downtown operations. As much as it saddens the residents to see the dilapidated, iconic downtown building hindering the Northfield Township Master Plan, we have committed over $1 million for its renovation project, the majority of which will go to local vendors and contractors, making this historic building relevant once again. We are confident this aligns well with the township's ability to execute the master plan. During the last 12 months of our community involvement, we listened to the many requests and suggestions of Northfield residents for the additional retail space within the renovation plan, with an array of ideas ranging from a bakery, group workspace, small bistro, and et cetera. Treehouse Wellness pledges to follow the consensus of the township, incorporating a non-marijuana related business. With additional businesses comes the need for additional parking. The easement is more than just a solution for additional parking. It is a hub for downtown traffic flow. Connecting Barker to Main has been a desire for many years. With the gracious support of our neighbor, Lovely Monkey Tattoo, the easement will allow for an extended public parking lot by connecting the rear of Treehouse Wellness to the adjacent side of 75 Barker. Furthermore, this easement will allow vehicle and pedestrian movement from public parking and pathways to both Main and Barker. This will open the desired pathway to downtown walkways and businesses while connecting much of downtown Whitmore Lake. This proposed cohesive plan provides simplicity to meet the difficulties of parking and movement in downtown Northfield Township. To further our vision with the master plan's focus on the community through parks and recreation, we have pledged 3% of our yearly net profits to the township. We will work alongside the township to ensure these donations are put in areas that need it most. From expanding and revitalizing the township's illustrious parks and waterfronts to providing funds for the road commission to repair and replace damaged roads, the township and residents will both see and feel the changes around themselves daily with our relentless community involvement. We plan to work closely with local law enforcement and social workers to establish a good working relationship within the community by educating those in need through hosting continuous informational seminars on the harmfulness of drugs and substance abuse. In conclusion, the Treehouse Wellness vision will segue into cultivation and processing operations within Northfield Township. Upon opening the provisioning retail outlet and consummating a strong working relationship with the residents and board members of Northfield Township, we plan to further invest a significant amount of capital to open these additional operations within the township. If given the opportunity, we want to invest further in Northfield Township as they have invested in us. I would like to thank the residents of Northfield Township who have taken to social media with the encouraging support for our project and vision for Northfield Township. Further, I'd like to thank the attendees who joined us Monday at the Q&A event we hosted at Captain Joe's. The response from the community was profound. We are encouraged by everyone's desire to learn more about the industry and how we have a mutually beneficial relationship between Treehouse Wellness and Northfield Township. Finally, I would like to thank the Planning Commission and Board of Trustees for allowing us to present our vision for Treehouse Wellness. We look forward to being a part of your community.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. You came in at 4 minutes, sir.
Okay. See if I can share my screen here. Camera's working.
So, Mr. Lewis, we're going to keep you as a panelist,
Okay.
but open it up for attendees to speak during the public hearing. Again, this is a public hearing for the Green Guys Group, Treehouse Wellness at 9545 to 9551 Main Street. I see one attendee, Dylan, I believe has raised his hand. And Atkinson, if it's the same Dylan as last time, which I think it is. I am unmuting you, sir. Please still state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, yes, this is Dylan Atkinson, 17 Anna Drive. I've been liking all of the proposals I've been seeing tonight. I'm a very strong advocate for marijuana businesses. You know, I hope to work for one or maybe start one myself. I was hoping to see more local people from our community getting into the industry and starting to redevelop their own, town that they've lived in for years. I appreciate all these other people trying to invest in our town, but it just seems like these big time corporation people are just trying to use this as a good spot to generate some money. It'd be really nice to see some more applicants that have been here for their whole lives, or even just, have lived here for a duration longer than some people just looking it up for, a couple years. Like I said, it looks like an amazing facility, something I would definitely work in and support. But it's just sad not seeing a lot of local business owners trying to step into the ring. So that's it.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your comments. I'm going to lower your hand and mute you again. I'm seeing now a few people with their hands raised. First in line is Adam. Adam, I'm going to unmute you. Please again state your name and address for the record. And the floor is yours for 3 minutes.
Adam Olney, 9315 Lakewood Court, Whitmore Lake resident. First, I just want to thank you guys for your presentation. You've definitely been out in the community trying to answer any questions you could, because you were aware that this really wasn't going to be a Q&A, and I appreciate that. In regards to other people, local residents opening these are very large endeavors that these companies are taking on to try and open up. And it's not just, any old business owner, oh, I want to open another business in my community. It's, millions of dollars to get started with this, and to actually grow and open one of these facilities. It's a lot of work, and a lot of
Adam, are you there?
Yeah, did I cut out?
Yeah, briefly, but you're back.
You hear me? All right. Yeah, it's I would much rather see someone that maybe hasn't lived here take on none of these in the appropriate way than someone just to attempt it because they're a local resident and they feel like they could give it a try. I really feel like the companies that have presented tonight do have the best interest, and we'll if they get a license, we'll handle things properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. We appreciate your comments. Next, I've got 3 more people with their hands raised to speak. C-Nail, C-N-A-E-L is what it says. So I'm going to allow you to talk. Please state your name and address. I'm unmuting you now. Trying again.
All right. Have we successfully unmuted?
You have 3 minutes.
Okay, Cheryl Neal, resident at 430 Barker Road. A comment. I am glad that a meet and greet was held at Captain Joe's. I was absolutely, totally unaware of that. I'd like the commission to know that. So I had no opportunity to meet, although that was a good idea. I had I don't know if this would be appropriate, so I yield this to the expertise of the people running this. I had a comment about the sign for that grow facility. I understand if I'm not able to say anything about that because of that being closed.
Yes, that public hearing is closed. If you would like to wait till the end of the meeting, there is a second call to the public that you could make that comment at.
Thank you.
Does that conclude your comments, Cheryl?
Yes, it does.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank
you. Next, I have Dana Forrester. Dana, it looks like you also are using an older version of Zoom. So I'm going to go ahead and promote you to panelist so that you can make your comments. You should be able to start your video, Dana, to make your comment. It looks like we're having trouble getting you going here, Dana. I'm going to move on to the next attendee. and see if that gives Dana a little time to work out her access. The next person who wants to speak is Brady. Brady, I'm allowing you to speak now. You should,
okay.
Before, please state your name. You've got 3 minutes.
My name's Donald Fox.
And your address, please.
296 Water Lily. And can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. So, yeah, we had the pleasure, me and my wife had the pleasure of meeting the Green Guys group at Captain Joe's the other night. The proposals seemed very nice. We liked the idea of these guys coming in and helping develop the town. I've been here since '04. We've built our family here. We got 2 young kids that ride their bikes down to Polly's Market and Domino's every day, or not every day, but, you know, every once a week, twice a week, head down there. And I feel like this group of people are going to keep the community in a safe and positive way. So I just want to send my best wishes to them and hope that we can allow them to build here.
Thank you for those comments, Donald. I'm going to go ahead and mute you. And I believe we have Dana now as, I think that this is Dana Forrester. Dana, is that you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can, we got you.
All right, I had the old version. So I live at 9255 Lakewood Drive in Wildwood Lake subdivision, but I own Lovely Monkey Tattoo at 9541 Main Street. And as a business owner, we bought my husband, James Trunco, and I bought the building in 2016. And unfortunately, as the years have progressed, we've lost tenants on both sides. And that whole block has really become dilapidated and a blight and an eyesore. And the current owner of the former Sandy's Massage is just a terrible, terrible landlord. I call that place the House of Horrors. And the other day I made a complaint to the ordinance about weeds, and I actually mentioned it to Matt. You know, Matt Ritz and the Green Guys don't own that building yet. It's pending this approval, and they came up on their own time and weeded the front and tried to make that eyesore as nice as possible, just to please, you know, me as a business owner. And that's how they've been through this whole past year, just, you know, talking to me and my neighbor Corrine from Corrine's Custom Costumes and other neighbors on Main Street, and just getting a feel for the town and what we need and how they can help and beautify it. So I fully support them, and I know that they will contribute greatly to Northfield Township and downtown Whitmore Lake. So I really hope you recommend them. I can't recommend them enough. They're amazing and committed, authentic, sincere, and hardworking.
Thank you, Dana. Appreciate your comments. I'm going to go ahead and mute you now. Lower your hand. I now see that James Trunco would like to speak. James, I'm unmuting you. And
Can you?
Yep, please state your name and address. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Yes, my name is James Trunco. I live at 9255 Lakewood Drive. As you just heard my wife speak, Dana Forrester, I am her husband, again, James Trunco. And I just want to, you know, echo her comments. You know, we've had our tattoo shop there, and, you know, we've been doing great down, you know, everything's been great for us. But yeah, our neighbors, you know, as you're aware, the whole downtown, you know, looks, I want to be kind, it looks shabby. And we would love to see that group move in next door to us. The rendering that they posted, it just looks like it could be a fine dining establishment. It would just help the overall appearance and demeanor of downtown. And I'm certain that they would make a great addition to the community. And I also would like to second my wife's nomination of that group. That I think they'll be excellent. And that's it.
Thank you, James. Appreciate your comments this evening. I'm going to go ahead and mute you and lower your hand. That concludes the folks that had raised their hands to speak during this public hearing. I would turn it back to the chair.
Okay, thank you. Any commissioners have any clarifications or questions? Seeing none, I will make motion that we close case JPC 200-005.
Chair, not to interrupt, but would you like to give Mr. Lewis an opportunity to respond as
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I can give him 5 minutes because that's what the previous person took. Thank you for the correction, Mr. Lippens. It slipped my mind.
Michael, you have the ability to start your video or just speak. You're not muted right now. Is there any comments you would like to respond to that were made during the public hearing?
Yeah, can you guys hear us? Okay, as mentioned earlier, I'm accompanied by our other managing partner, Matthew Ritz, and I do want to point out one thing with regard to not living in the area, because I'd like to point out that I did grow up in the area, but just not right in the exact Whitmore Lake area. I grew up in Fenton, Michigan. Matt grew up in Brighton, so I've been in Whitmore Lake, Brighton area, Ann Arbor my entire life. It's been a passion of ours, of my own, to actually own a home on the lake out there, because I grew up out there on the lake. So I may have not been involved on the business level at a young age, but
yeah. And you know, we've been in Brighton 38 years. My father's owned Brighton Chrysler there, and we've been a staple of that community. That's why we know about Whitmore Lake, and that's why we feel very comfortable being a part of Whitmore Lake, and we hope Whitmore Lake will be comfortable with us. And it seemed to make the most sense. We looked all over, and we feel Whitmore Lake is a very good fit. So
yeah, and to further comment on Donald, Dana, James, and Adam's comments, we do appreciate your support, and we would love the opportunity to be part of the community.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis, one of the questions that came up was related to local ownership. And I'm remembering that you do have a part owner
yes.
in Northfield Township. Can you maybe talk about that aspect of your proposal?
yeah, we have a very small majority owner that lived in the apartments upstairs. He's renting an apartment, and we're hoping to use that so he can facilitate the build out of the building and everything else. And actually, my other partner, Mike, just sold his house, and he is looking to buy a house on the lake at Whitmore Lake. So we're fully committed to this, and this is what we want to do for our life, and we hope that we could be a part of this.
Thank you. Chair, back.
Okay, any further from the commissioners? I see none. Again, I'll make motion to close case JPC 200-005. Is there support?
Support.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Again, since you're muted, I suppose a hand raise.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Iaquinto. Ms. Infante would have to hear audio, I suppose.
No, I said hi.
Thank you. Okay, so with that, I make a motion to take a 5-minute recess.
I support.
Aye.
Me too.
Support.
All in favor? Raise a hand. Aye.
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 All right, we will resume at 9 o'clock, thereabouts.
Sounds good. All right. For attendees, planning commissioners, go ahead and mute your, turn your video off and take a break. Attendees, just to fill you in, planning commission's made a motion to take a break. 5 minutes. It's been a long meeting. It's 9 o'clock, or almost 9 o'clock. We're going to resume the public hearings at 9. We have 3 more public hearings to conduct this evening. And we will get those going at 9. So hang with us, take a break yourselves, and we will be back. All right, attendees, it's 9 o'clock. We will wait for the rest of the commissioners to come back and resume the meeting. Looks like we've got the commission here. Chair, when you're ready, do you need to resume?
Okay, the next case, item D. I make a motion to open case number JPC 200006. Recommend to approve of conditions or deny the request of RTMC Enterprises, 50 East North Territorial Road, Whitmore Lake, for conditional use to develop the existing structure into a retail and provisioning center. Retail and provisioning centers are permitted as a conditional land use in the GC General Commercial District for Article 14, Section 36-391 of the zoning ordinance. The parcel number is B-02-20-30-300-3032 and Zone GC General Commercial District. With that, we'll go to Mr. Lippens.
I'll second it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Zarzaki, supported. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Mr. Lippens.
Thank you, Chair. I believe this is the Northern Trellis application. Going to the agenda. Do we have anyone in the audience representing Northern? Oh, yes, I see Trent's here. Okay, Trent, I am promoting you to panelist. Looks like Brian is here too. Trent, is Brian also on your team tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to have, so this is Trent. I'm going to have myself plus 3 other people, Brian, John, and Rob speak as well. So if you could unmute them.
Okay. See John here. Promoting John to panelist. And did I get everybody? I've got Trent, Brian, and John. You guys are here. Would you like to share the bullet points that you provided, or would you like me to share them?
I'm going to share my screen while each of us say a little piece.
All right, the floor is yours. You have five minutes.
Okay, thank you. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, good. So we wanted to start off actually with giving some information that the residents at Northfield perhaps can't get from all the documents that were provided in the agenda packet. And most importantly, that's the people behind the application. So we have 4 of us here today. You're talking, this is the group. There's no partners beyond that. So we have John Carlson, who is the building owner. We have Rob McCurran, who is a co-owner and my partner. And then we have Brian Kirschbaum, who is also a co-owner and partner. And so I'm going to let those guys introduce themselves real quick so everybody on the Zoom call can get to know them, and then I'll come back in and give our spiel.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm glad to start. My name is Brian Kirschbaum, and I actually am a resident here at Northfield Township. My wife and I moved here in 2014. Since then, we've had 2 kids and just absolutely love the community. So look forward to very much growing the community as well any way that we can. I also am part of a family business, Waterscape, which is also in Northfield Township. So I understand local businesses and local effects on economies, and just very much look forward to this opportunity.
My name is John Carlson. I live at 2701 Daleview in Scioto Township. I primarily work on historic buildings throughout Michigan, from Old Mission Township, Peninsula Township, and Traverse City. And I drive up this road on my way up north for the last 20 years and believe this is a underused site And I've known the McCurrans now for 5 years and can't say enough about the character of these gentlemen. And I'm here to answer any questions. I realize this feels a little slightly different than other planning meetings I've been a part of, but probably because I deal mostly just on the real estate side. I am a part of restaurants in Ann Arbor and Northern Michigan and breweries, but in this case, I have no ownership in the business, and primarily will work on the construction and design if they are granted the ability to open here. I guess I wowed everybody with that comment, so nobody
Well,
said
we're waiting
anything.
for Rob. Rob may be having technical difficulties, so I'll go ahead and jump in and speak for Rob. So Rob's my partner. We have the same last name, as you might notice. He is my cousin. Rob is a doctor by training, emergency room MD by training. He lives about 5 to 10 minutes south of the location that we're talking about today. He's in Ann Arbor. Rob just texted me. He said Paul has not let him in. So Paul, if you could do that while I'm talking, and then Rob can come in here at the end. So Rob lives about 5 to 10 minutes south of the location in Ann Arbor, and really he's the one who got us all into this. He has a passion for medical cannabis based on his practicing history as well as some personal history, and so he's the one who pulled me into this. I'm based in Grand Rapids, and my background is really on the business side. I have my MBA and have worked my way through corporate America before deciding to venture off onto my own. My most recent position was as Vice President of Marketing at Founders Brewing. Before I left that position almost 2 years ago now to do this. So that's the team there. You heard from Brian, our resident, who has done a lot of the groundwork for us as well. I do want to focus on our company vision and what our goals are. So our goals with the whole company is to humanize cannabis wellness. We do think it can be a high quality, safe, and consistent product for people that really need it, while also giving an enlightening retail experience for everyone. And we think this building that we've been able to secure really does that well. It's at the corner of Whitmore Lake and North Territorial Road. For people who aren't familiar with it, we like it because it's nicely set back from the road, and so we don't think traffic will be an issue there. And there's also an abundance of parking, which we think will be important a lot because of the new world we're facing with post-pandemic, and in terms of takeout being potentially a major source of revenue because of the safety concerns of being inside. And we don't know how long this is going to last, and this could forever change the retail environment. We just don't know. So everybody on the Zoom should be able to see the site. This is just one slide from the presentation that shows our planned development of it. It's a 2-floor building. The plan is to have adult use, or recreational, some may call it, on the bottom, and then medical on the top. And so you can separate out the patients and the adult use users. I do want to also speak to some of our planned community commitments. With Brian living there in town and being an owner, we've taken his guidance on a lot of this stuff. And with our vision of wellness, we have focused our charitable donations toward that vision. So we've identified 3 programs that we would donate our profits to. We're projecting between 1% and 5% of net income to go to charitable donations in Northfield Township. And those 3 donations that we are targeting are the Northfield Community Garden, as a healthy diet is a critical component of wellness. The second is the Health and Wellness Initiatives through the Whitmore Lake and Brighton Chamber of Commerce. There's several initiatives I won't go into here that help people live a healthy lifestyle, stuff like treating arthritis and pursuing physical activity. And then last is the Environmental Council of the Whitmore Lake and Brighton Chamber of Commerce. We all know environment plays a crucial role in health and wellness, and so anywhere we contribute to that, we want to do that. So those are the 3 things we chose because we think they align to our overall company objective of humanizing wellness. So those were very intentional and very specific choices as to how we wanted to contribute to the community.
Trent, you're a little bit over. I'd like to give you an opportunity to have Rob introduce himself since I let him in late.
Yes, please.
If you have a closing comment, please feel free to make it.
Yeah, I'll make one more, then Rob can jump in. Yeah, the site we do think is perfect because it's in a general commercial area, so no residential around it. And we plan on, it's probably gonna be an investment of anywhere from $2.5 to $3 million once it's all said and done to bring that site up to speed.
Rob, if you could be brief on your introductions.
Am I coming through okay?
You are.
Thank you, Paul, for bringing me in. And Trent really spoke to my position in this, but I was one of the co-founders with Trent in trying to create a vertically integrated Michigan-based cannabis company that's really focused on high quality from seed. So we have 2 different grow operations that are close to completion, a processing lab, and a handful of retail applications, some of which are close to being operational, and several others that are just kind of bogged down by getting through this process because it takes a while. And I know how much work it is for you all to do this, but simply said, we feel like we've got the right mission that's consistent with what communities like Northfield Township will want to achieve by bringing in cannabis businesses into their community. We're local. I'm in Arbor Township. I bike ride by this building and shop at Alexander's Farm Market. So I understand Whitmore Lake. I understand the community and really feel like we have the right team, the right experience to bring a cannabis retail location to the community that's really going to, one, give you a vastly improved site, a lot of good business into this side of the community. We won't impinge on residential areas. We're right off the highway. We just think it's the right combination of location and that we have the right team to partner with you and the commitment to do it in the right way. So I appreciate your time. I'll stop there. I'd have a lot more to say, but in the interest of time, I'll stop. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. The Northern Trellis team, I'd ask you all to turn your video off, but we're going to keep you as panelists in case Planning Commission has more questions. With the chair's permission, we'll start the public comment part of this public hearing. So anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the Northern Trellis application, please raise your hand. Again, if you're participating via phone, you can raise your hand to speak by pressing *6 on your phone. And if you press *6, I can unmute you to speak. If you are participating via Zoom, a computer webinar, you raise your hand by looking at your panel and pressing the button that says raise my hand. I am not seeing anyone in the audience raising their hand at this time to speak on the Northern Trellis application. Take a pause. I see one. Adam is raising his hand. Adam, I'm unmuting you. Again, for the record, please state your name and address. And you've got 3 minutes.
Adam Olney, 9315 Lakewood Court, Whitmore Lake resident. Just like with some of the other presenters tonight, I was just inquiring if you currently own the property, and if you do, what your plans are if the marijuana business does not get licensed, if you have other plans for the property. Thank you.
And before you respond, I just say we'll wait till the end, and then the chair might acknowledge you to answer questions that were raised. So appreciate you hanging on there. And thank you, Adam, for your question. I'm going to go ahead and mute you. I do not see any other attendees raising their hand. So, Chair, I would give it back to you. If any commissioners have questions for the applicants at this time, or Chair, if you'd like to let John answer that question about the property ownership, we could do that as well.
Yes, I'd like to give the applicant a few minutes to respond to the question and anything else, if they can stay within 3 to 5 minutes, please.
We do not own the property now. Again, I said I'm also in the restaurant industry, and unfortunately, that's possibly the worst industry to be in right now. So we will not be doing a restaurant there, and hope that we have an opportunity, but we do not have any plans, and we do not currently own the property.
Thank you. Paul, you're muted. Can everyone else hear?
Yeah.
Okay, Paul, you were on mute. I'm sorry.
That's what Commissioner Cousineau was telling me I'm muted. I was saying John and Trent and Rob and Brian, if you would like to make any closing comments, the chair said that he'd give you the floor for another couple minutes since others had the opportunity.
Yeah, I'll make some closing comments. This is Trent. Yeah, I just want to go ahead and emphasize again our interest in being part of, even more of a part.
Most important thing. Yep. You fall in love with someone who's like.
Yep.
Cecilia, you're not muted there. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to reemphasize again, our team, we made sure that all 4 of us were here because this is the group. There's no one else beyond this. And I wanted the township and all of you planning commissioners to know who you're dealing with. Luckily, hopefully you could see our faces and see who we are. And I wanted you to just understand how committed we are to Northfield Township and to this project. We do have a couple of other applications in other spots, but Northfield is certainly our lead horse, and one that we think could really be the gem in our crown, so to speak, because of the site is so ready for development in such a perfect location. And with Brian there in Northfield and Rob in Arbor, we do feel a pretty good connection to the community, and think that's important not only from an altruistic standpoint, where we do believe we need to live our values and be an active participant in the communities, but also just from a good business standpoint. I don't think any business can be successful in a community where they're not grounded there with the roots. And with Brian and Rob, we really have that. And our marketing budget is not going to be a massive one, because we want to make our business successful through our relationships and through being good stewards of the business that we may be able to run there, and a good steward of the community. So I just want to reemphasize that and say thank you for the opportunity. We look forward to hearing next steps, and hope this can be a fruitful enterprise for everyone involved.
Okay, thank you. Anything from any commissioners? Ms. Cousineau?
Yeah, I just heard Trent say that they've got other interests. They're in the same phase elsewhere, and I'm curious, if they get something else first, or how that plays out. What's their plan for who jumps in first relative to which community would welcome them first?
Well, in terms of our priorities, and I'm not saying this just because I'm talking to you, but Northfield truly is our #1 because of the opportunity we think it is. Not only because of the roots that Brian and Rob have there that make it important to us, but simply put, from a market standpoint, it's really attractive to us. And so Northfield really is our #1. And luckily we have the financial ability too, that getting one does not exclude another. I think we mentioned the other ones just because we want to assure the planning commissioners and also the residents that we're not cavalier in our approach to this. That we do know what we're doing because we're doing it elsewhere. And so we only have 2 other ones, and so it's not like we're overextending. But Northfield truly is our #1 location.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
I'll just add that the other 2 retail stores that we are currently building out will be open and operational before we would actually start build out, depending on the timeline of how this process goes. But we are fully ready as soon as the licenses decisions are made to begin the project and take it to completion as soon as possible. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you. With that, I'll make a motion to close case JPC 200006. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Kuzno. All in favor indicate by saying aye or raise a hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. We will move on to the next case is E. It's case number JPC 200007. Recommend to approve with conditions, or deny the request of Whitmore Wellness, Pure Buds, 8475 Main Street, Whitmore Lake, for conditional use to develop the property into a retail provisioning center. Retail and provisioning centers are permitted as a conditional land use in the GC General Commercial District per Article 14, Section 36-391 of the zoning ordinance. The parcel number is B-02-08-250-017 zoned GC General Commercial District. Is there support to open that public hearing?
I'll support.
Ms. Chick. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, with that, we'll turn it to Mr. Lippens.
Aye.
Yes, so I promoted the applicant Kishan to panelist. Kish, you should be able to start your screen. Do you have anyone else on your team presenting this evening?
No, Paul, if you could pull up my presentation, that would be great.
Okay, let me do that. All right, now I'll share my screen, and it looks like you have just 3 slides to talk over, so you can just say next slide to if you want me to move, or previous if you want me to go back. Does that sound good?
Yep, sounds good. Thank you, Paul.
All right.
So hello, everyone. My name is Kishan Sataria, also known by my nickname Kish to many in the community. I wanted to start off by giving you guys a brief background on how we got to this site plan in front of you, myself and my team. My family and I are small business owners, and we take pride in being owner-operators. To give you a glimpse of some of our businesses, we currently own and operate 17 gas stations.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. To give you a glimpse of some of our businesses, we currently own and operate 17 gas station and convenience stores in the Metro Detroit area, as well as multiple manufacturing facilities, an IT company, and more. Prior to these business endeavors, my family worked on farms. And so I really wanted to take our strong background in farming and agriculture and our high-tech manufacturing knowledge and combine that into a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in the marijuana space. We started looking for a place to call home for this $10 million project, and being from the neighboring Plymouth Township, we were very interested in Northfield once the Planning Commission and board began discussions around marijuana facilities. I started participating in the meetings to really understand the community and the sentiment around the industry. And I can say we're very fortunate to have found 127 acres of properly zoned vacant land that we will be developing into a secure gated business park with our grow and process facility as the anchor tenant. Since we're turning this vacant land into commercial use, that development will bring significant tax revenue to the township and school district. That plan will be up for review in the near future, and we look forward to working with the planner, Planning Commission, and community on that project. As I mentioned earlier, I've been attending the township meetings for a long time now, and to really understand the community and the sentiment and what drives the values here. While at those meetings, I had the pleasure of meeting the Hatfields, who mentioned that they were receiving a lot of offers to acquire Bobber and convert it into a marijuana retail store. We discussed if our group was the right fit, and frankly speaking, retail was always part of a second phase for us. We wanted to ensure that we had our own supply of safe, tested product to our own grow before exploring the retail side. However, with my team already operating 17 stores in the area, we took it as a sign to speed up our plans, and we worked out a deal to make sure our acquisition was not a loss for the community. The Hatfields are keeping the Bobberdown name, the liquor license, and are actively looking at other real estate and business opportunities in the area. And my team, after doing extensive research on the community, realized that there was a need for more than just a marijuana retail store. And we've decided to convert the building into 2 separate retail uses under the branding of Pure. Paul, if you could go to the next slide, please, that would be great. The front and majority of the building will be Pure Market, where folks can stop in and grab a snack or something to drink. Those who are interested in marijuana products can go to the rear of the building, which will be called Pure Buds, which will house the retail and provisioning center. There's a lobby in Pure Buds to screen all customers prior to entry, and all products will adhere to state laws, which include safety disclaimers and child-proof sealed containers and packaging. When it comes to security, we're working with our neighbor, All-Star Alarm, on an extremely robust and exhaustive security system with cameras, access control, and monitoring, and we're very fortunate to be right across from the police station. We've also been working with a consultant who successfully operates 21 marijuana retail stores across 3 states, and utilizing their experience in the space, we're incorporating tried and tested operating procedures to ensure we're compliant with all regulations and industry best practices. We've addressed all the planner's comments in our updated site plan, which the township is currently reviewing. And on the next slide, you'll see that there's a render of our building, which shows an updated and uplifted exterior with repainted siding, a new modern entry for the market, as well as new landscaping. From our floor plan, you may notice that there'll be an extensive interior remodel with the ceilings being raised to provide more height and room in the building and really making it an open and modern space. We're excited and look forward to joining and being an active member of the community here in town. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kish. Appreciate your presentation, and you came in under time. So with the chair's permission, we will start the public comment part of the public hearing. Looking at the attendee list, I am now seeing 1 participant with their hand raised. Brady. Brady, I am allowing you to talk and unmuting you.
Hello?
Please state your name and address, Brady, and you have 3 minutes.
Hello, it's Donald Fox, 296 Water Lily. Somehow we were allowed to talk when we weren't supposed to talk, and we were not talking about the construction of the building when my wife said no. We were talking amongst ourselves, and we had no idea we were on speaker, so I just want to make that clear. We have no issues with the building being built there. I do like the idea of it being a restaurant there, so it's kind of a concern of changing that from a restaurant over to something else. But, you know, I mean, life is parts of changes, so it is what it is. So best wishes to everybody.
Thank you, Donald. Appreciate your comments. I'm going to mute you now. And I see now Kristen D has her hand raised. Kristen, I'm going to allow you to talk. Unmute you. Please state your name and address. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, Paul. Can you hear me?
We can.
All right. It's Kristen Delaney, 8475 Main Street. I'm here with my parents, Clyde Debbie Hatfield. We currently own 8457 Main Street, which is Bobberdown Bar and Grill. And just wanted to chime in. Keish did a great job of explaining what our future is looking like right now, that we will retain the liquor license, we will retain the business, and we're actively looking for another opportunity here in Northfield Township. But we feel like this is a great opportunity for us. It is a great opportunity for the purchaser. They are another family-owned business that will come here, and they plan to make a substantial investment in the property and also in the grow facility that they're also looking to establish. From our dealings with Keyshawn and his family, we've just seen them demonstrate that they're impeccable with their word, impeccable with their planning, and we feel like they're going to bring that kind of quality to this building and the other facility that they're planning. So we thank you for the opportunity to speak. And Donald, thank you for your support. We'll miss you too, but our plan is to look for other opportunities here in Northfield Township. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate your time, and thank you for your comments. At this time, I'm not seeing anyone other attendees with their hand raised. Chair, if you have questions. Oh, we've got one person raising their hand, Rob Germain. Rob, I am allowing you to speak. Oh, one more time.
Am I there?
We've got you. Please state your name, address. You have 3 minutes.
Rob Germain, 58 Emerald Circle, Whitmore Lake, Michigan, 48189. I just want to speak on the behalf of a colleague of mine, Somer Jamil, who currently operates Lakeside Party Shop and Ultimate Pizza over on 52 Barker Street. He's looking to expand his business, and he's looking to go to opening Pure Green dispensary over there. And I totally support him with expanding his business. He's been a solid contributor to the community for several years.
Mr. Germain.
Yep.
Apologize for interrupting you. I think that you are intending to speak at another public hearing. This public hearing is for the Pure Bud establishment, which is going to be located in the, or is proposed to be located at the Bobber Downs site.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I understand. But if you'd like to speak, I think that public hearing is next.
Okay, I will wait. I'm sorry.
For sure. I'm going to go ahead and mute you. All right. I'm not seeing anyone else with their hand raised. So, Chair, I would turn it back to you if anyone has a question for Keish, or if you'd like to give him an opportunity to respond to any of the comments.
Anything further from any commissioners? Seeing Ms. Chick.
You're muted, Janet.
Yep, for Keishan, in regard to it's 50 East North Territorial, correct, where you're looking to do the grow operation, is that correct?
It's actually right across the street from Jomar Park. So there's no address right now, but
okay.
Vacant property east of US 23 on North Territorial Road.
Okay, and there's no schools in the area, anything like that. It's in the
RTM.
Correct?
It's zoned RTM, and the future land use indicates it was industrial zoning, but we don't need to rezone, so that's great.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions for Keish, or Chair, would you like to give him a couple minutes to close?
If you could give a brief closing, sure.
Sure. So I'd just like to say that we're very excited to work with the whole township, the board, the planning commission, as we bring our plans for this and our other projects to you guys. There's a lot it's hard to quickly pitch in a meeting like this. To give you an example of just something little that we think about as we design our facilities, we're going to have 2 separate retail uses proposed in Bobber. One's going to be a market where the general public can come in, grab their snacks, grab their drinks, anything they need. And there's going to be the conditional use of the marijuana dispensary in the rear of the building. And so you'll see this on our mechanical system and our plans, but the Pure Market building is going to have the front of it's going to have positive pressure. The dispensary is going to have negative pressure, and that way you won't have any odor concerns. You're not going to have odor leaks. And there's a lot of little things like that we have as part of our plans, as part of our permitting and construction sets that we'll be presenting to you guys, so you can really get an understanding of how we're complying and making sure that we're in line with all the ordinances that the township has.
Thank you, Keish.
Thank you. With that, I make a motion to close the public hearing for case JPC 200007. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Zarzeki. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes
Aye.
have it. Okay, and the next item is F. I make a motion to open a public hearing for case JPC 200008. Recommend to approve with conditions or deny the request of Michigan Pure Green LLC, 52 Barker, Whitmore Lake, for conditional use to develop the existing structure into an adult use and provisioning center. Adult use and provisioning centers are permitted as conditional land use in the WLDD district per Article 12. Section 36-340 of the zoning ordinance. The parcel number is B-02-05-253-007 and zone WLDD Whitmore Lake Downtown District. Is there support? Supported by Mr. Iaquinto.
I think Sam has a question.
Oh, get a question? Well, we have a motion. Let's get a support on the motion to open it.
Support.
Cecilia.
Ms. Infante. Questions, comments on the motion, Mr. Iaquinto?
Driving by the property, there is no sign posted regarding the conditional use or the site plan. Are we still supposed to hear and open up a public hearing if there is no signage posted on the property as all the other ones are?
I'll defer the question to Mr. Lippens.
The posting of signs is not necessarily under my purview. I know Ms. Berg provided the information about the posting of the signs to everyone. It is the responsibility of the applicants to post the sign. So I would say, Commissioner, the same thing in term that I said earlier when there was a question about the sign. If Planning Commission finds that a sign was not placed according to the ordinance, you can adjourn a public hearing and reschedule another public hearing. We probably do have the applicant here tonight. If you choose to open the public hearing, you could hear from them. It wouldn't preclude you from scheduling another one. But usually I would suggest if we have the applicant here, you might as well address that question to them and ask them why they didn't put the sign up.
Okay, so we have a motion to open the public hearing. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? No one's opposed. So we will go ahead and continue the public hearing. I'll turn it over to Mr. Lippens.
I'm seeing Jocelyn Monahan raising her hand and Mr. Pizziali who are with the applicant. Oh, I should be promoting them to panelist. Jocelyn promoting to panelist. So we have Mr. Pizziali and Jocelyn. You should be able to start your video and address the planning.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, Jocelyn, I can hear you.
Perfect.
How many people on your team are here?
So it's myself, it's Rob Pizziali, and it's Somer Jamil, the owner. And I have to say, I'm getting an incredible amount of feedback. Is there a way I can change that?
Mr. Lippens, it appears Mr. Jermaine is on and possibly causing that interference.
Oh. That should do it.
Thank you very much. I think it's cleared up now. So Jocelyn and I believe is it Rob Pizziali? I know we've talked before, but Jocelyn and Rob, you should be able to speak now.
They're both muted.
I'm going to unmute. Oops. Jocelyn?
Right. So yes, so I am the attorney representing the applicant who proposes an adult use and a medical cannabis provisioning center at 52 Barker Road. It's currently a lakeside party shop, so they're proposing a change in use in addition to all the plan, in addition to the physical plant improvements, which are in the packet in front of you guys. I would like to first thank McKenna and Associates and then also OHM for reviewing the application and providing their comments. As my client always does, when they get comments from experts, they adopt them. So any comment that has been provided by McKenna and Associates or OHM, when this packet goes to planning, those changes and improvements and amendments will be updated. We look always to the municipality for instruction as to what they want in their jurisdiction, and we deliver that. I think it's important. Excuse me?
Sorry, would you like me to share my screen with the presentation?
Yeah, go ahead. That would be perfect. Just to give a sense of what we're planning for the improvements, exterior and interior. And then I'll really quickly just turn it over to Rob after you get the pictures up.
Great, I'm sharing them now.
Okay. So Rob is the owner of the applicant entity, and he can talk a little bit about his experience, his role, and then he will briefly turn it over to Somer Jamil, who's the property owner and a current business and landowner within your jurisdiction. So go ahead, Rob.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rob Pizziali. Certainly appreciate the time and the opportunity to speak with you tonight and present our plan for the location at 52 Barker, and look forward to working with you on this project and taking it to fruition. And as you can see with, I think the screen that can see our vision for that site. I'm
going to just interrupt, guys. I actually think it's not, what we're seeing is not what I anticipated to see. We have just a couple we had a interior shot and an exterior really quick. We just kind of wanted to give you a sense of the finished product without, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what we thought.
Yeah, that's fine. Now they can, yep, that's okay. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead and just maybe, yeah, talk about your role and you can hand it over to Somer. It'll be fine.
Sure. A little bit of background about me. I am a licensed attorney here in the state of Michigan. I'm the owner of Michigan Pure Green. I'm part of a team that we operate several locations in the state of Michigan currently. I'm not gonna look at my screen anymore because it keeps popping up and it's just not what I'm expecting. But I am local. I'm from Southeast Michigan, born and raised in Michigan. We're using Michigan funds to develop this location, and the funds are going to stay local. So there's that Michigan vibe going on with this this project. As an attorney, and also a business owner, I've represented multiple clients in the state of Michigan. I am on I do compliance and licensing for these locations. And I have a background in construction and know that we will be able to pull this project out of the ground and deliver the project that you see on the screen and in your packet. And Somer and I are sharing this computer together, and I'm honored to introduce or give Somer his moment here.
Hi, everybody. My name is Somer. I know some of you that are on the board. If I don't, I've been a business member in Whitmore for going on 15 years now. I also have a master's in finance. Not only do I own the store for over 6 years, but my partners and I have owned and operated Driftwood Marina and the house next door. So my family and I just love the lake and the town. Even though I don't live here in Whitmore, I've been very close to the community and actually consider it my home. I think of myself as a local, and as a local, I want to see the town thrive. You know, I'm proud to have made many lifelong friends here in the community since I've been at Lakeside Party Shop and Little Porky's. I've always had a passion for seeing the town grow through my years as a member of the DDA. You know, I have to admit, I did have a few reservations after being approached by Rob and his team, you know, to buy my location and turn it into a dispensary, because I've grown very fond of the community and didn't want to leave, you know, the people that I saw on a daily basis. So luckily, you know, we worked it out. I'm going to stay and maintain a vital role within Michigan Pure Green, you know, which will give me an opportunity to still see some of my customers and hopefully make many more new friends with this new opportunity. Oh, and also to answer Sam's question, we've had that sign up on the windows for over 2 weeks now, you know, and we did provide that picture to the township as well. So yeah, I hope that settles that.
And we can provide that, and the photo is timestamped, so you can see that it was actually posted on a date and time.
Thank you for your response. So if that concludes your presentation.
It does.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to open it up for public comment with the chair's permission. And it looks like I do have one person raising their hand. Kathy Dunbar. Kathy, I'm going to mute you.
It's okay. Can you, am I coming through okay, or is there feedback on me? Because I was definitely hearing feedback on you.
I think you're okay.
Good,
Just,
okay.
State your name and address, please, Kathy.
My name is Kathy Dunbar, and I live in Lansing, Michigan, and I am on the Lansing City Council. And I want to tell you that I sat where you're sitting 2 nights ago through a 6-hour council meeting, and you have my respect and empathy for being a public servant. So thank you. You guys probably know this. Lansing was one of the first cities in the state to open up cannabis applications, and we have had the opportunity to work with dozens and dozens of operators, and some of them are terrible. Some of them are wonderful, and this group is one of the good guys. And I've had to deal with many people coming into the community who don't know the business, don't know the community, don't care to learn about the community. And I know that their other businesses are Michigan-based. They're not a national company that's flying in. They're rooted in Michigan, and they took the time to learn about our community, and they were so responsive to any kind of feedback from the city staff, from the community, from the council. They worked really well with our city clerk and our zoning office. They're very good to their employees. They pay really good wages. I know this because my daughter worked for them, and the establishment is so professional, so aesthetically pleasing. So it's just such a nice working environment for my kid. And that's important to me, and as a member of the community, to look at this establishment as we go by. And they're super good with the nonprofits in the area. They came in and said, what can we do? We know we're gonna be making a profit at this business in your community. What can we do to help the community around us? And so, they donate to a local farm in the area, and they donate to nonprofits. And I think they're really good players with good business sense and a good legal team. And I would just really encourage you, if you're, if you're on the fence about this at all, come to Lansing and check out what they've done here. It's really nice. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate you hanging out and making your comments. Get it. Looks like Rob Germain would like to make his comment now, and thank you, Rob, for waiting till this time as well. You should.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, Rob, do you want to speak? Maybe not. I'm going to lower your hand. Rob, if you do want to make a comment, please raise your hand again. And is there anyone else in the public who would like to make a comment on the Nature's Cure proposal? Rob?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I apologize to the board. I'm new to this. Got a little confused. I'm sorry if I caused any interruption there. And then I spoke on the wrong record. I'm sorry. But anyways, I want to say I support the partnership with Somer Jamil and the Michigan True Green operation. Somer Jamil is with the Lakeside Party Shop and also the Marina. Have been a fabulous operations to the community. They've supported a lot of sports groups, the youth, every year after year. And I think his partnership will just continue that. I strongly agree with his new transition if they do this Michigan True Green thing. And that's all I got to say. I just strongly support it. Thanks for listening, and I'm sorry for all the interruption.
Can Mr.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate your time.
Mr. Germain provide his address, please?
Oh, Mr. Germain, I forgot to ask you to state your address. I'm going to unmute you again. If you wouldn't mind providing your address.
It's 58 Emerald Circle, Whitmore, Lake Michigan, 48189.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Sorry for the interruption. I didn't mean this.
No worries. All right. Anyone else in the audience like to make a comment on this application? I'm seeing Mr. Dylan Atkinson, I believe. Dylan, please state your name and your address again for the record. I'm trying to unmute you so you can make a comment.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Dylan Atkinson, 17 Anna Drive. And, these were the applications I was looking to see. I've known the little Porky's place for pretty much ever since I was a little kid. I'm glad to see that he's really developing his business and staying in the community. That's awesome. And it's good to hear that he'll still be in there. I just want to say, again, I do support all the businesses coming in. I was just hoping to see more local guys like our people at Ultimate Pizza. That's awesome. So I support those guys coming in and sticking around in the community and being here so long. That's all.
Thank you, Dylan, for your comments. Appreciate it. Anyone else in the audience like to make a comment at this time? Last public hearing of the evening. I'm seeing a panelist, the Commissioner Dwyer raised his hand. I'm not seeing any more attendees, so I will go back to the commission. If you have questions for the applicant, now would be the time. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Any commissioners have question? Mr. Dwyer?
Could the applicant just clarify how many similar operations he has currently and where they are, please?
Thank you, Commissioner Dwyer. I believe Jocelyn and Rob Pizziali are still here. Can you answer the commissioner's question?
Sure, absolutely. There's a location in Lansing. There's a location in Portage. There's a location in Battle Creek. Rob, what am I missing?
That would be it currently.
Thank you. Any other questions from commissioners, or Chair, would you like to give Michigan Pure Green the opportunity to make a closing statement?
Yes, if they can make a brief statement.
You know, actually, ladies and gentlemen, I do not have anything further to say. You have been inundated with information. You have packets from me and my client. I thank you, and I hope you all sleep well tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
In that case, I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing for case JPC 200008. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Ms. Chick. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? No one opposed. We'll continue on with the rest of the meeting then. Like to go to number 8, item 8, reports from committees. Board of Trustees report, Ms. Chick.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. The board met last night. They basically handled regular business. There was nothing the planning commission might be interested in to report.
Thank you. ZBA report, Mr. Kuzno.
ZBA has not met since our last meeting. We do have one coming up this Monday.
Thank you. I don't believe Ms. Bird is present for staff report. Planning consultant report, Mr. Lippens.
Thank you. Just briefly, an update. At our last Planning Commission meeting, we discussed scheduling discussions on public hearings that we've heard tonight. Number one, when all the site plan issues are addressed. So that's the first thing we'll have to deal with the client, with the applicants. And then 2, Planning Commission expressed a preference not to have more than 3 cases on one agenda, with a willingness possibly to schedule special meetings. At this time, our first meeting would be the first Monday in August, first Wednesday in August. That is August 5th. I anticipate that we will have cases on August 5th for discussion. My plan would be to, as Planning Commission requested, not to schedule more than 3 cases for discussion. But as the chair suggested the last meeting, we would not be scheduling those discussions as decision items, to allow possibly for the opportunity to schedule the other cases for the following week, so you can make a decision on all the cases that were ready. If we determine that site plans are not ready for Planning Commission to hear, it may be possible or likely that we only have 3 cases ready. So we have to play this a little bit by ear, but I do want Planning Commission to know that from the administration's perspective, I think it's reasonable to schedule 3 cases per evening, and I think we have a good strategy for doing this. Certainly, I think it was good that we held all these public hearings tonight, and I appreciate all of the applicants and members of the community's time for attending this. There's a lot of information, and I'm happy heard from these applicants this evening. The other thing that to provide via update was that we do have other cases that have indicated their intent to proceed with applications. Some have filed applications Some have filed applications or started the process, but we haven't received payment. But we will continue to process those applications, and as we've done with these applicants, plan to introduce those cases to you once we receive those applications, and schedule public hearings as soon as possible. As you know, we have to do a 14-day, it's actually a 15-day notice, and that has to be put in the paper, which requires kind of an extra week to get that in the paper. At this time, I would not anticipate having any public hearings, certainly at the August 5th meeting. But I would anticipate the possibility that some of the following applications may be ready for a public hearing at the regularly scheduled, possibly as early as August 19th at the regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting. So that is to say, we're busy. We've got a lot of applicants. We've also received a few applications for other site plans that aren't marijuana related. So we do have a lot of business, and I would anticipate at very minimum having full agendas at your regularly scheduled meetings, and possibly I'll work with the chair to schedule a special meeting in August if needed. So that's it for my update tonight. Certainly I can answer questions during commissioner updates if I've left anything out. Thank you.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation report, Mr. Aquinto.
We have a Zoom meeting tomorrow evening. If anyone would like details, please contact Mrs. Jennifer Carlisle to be able to attend that via Zoom meeting. Other than that, again, the Bark Park and the community garden are prospering, and everything else is going well for the Parks and Rec. Thank you.
Thank you. Downtown Planning Group report, Ms. Infante.
We have an upcoming Zoom meeting, 7 o'clock on the 22nd.
Thank you. There's no unfinished business tonight. Mr. Lippens touched upon the meeting schedule that we were going to discuss under new business item 10. I think we about covered that. I can tell you this, as far as the schedule, I will not be available the first meeting in August. So whatever happens, I'm sure you can still have a quorum. Anyone else have comments about the meeting schedule other than what Mr. Lippens, or pertaining to what Mr. Lippens brought up?
If I can pipe in quickly, I do think if we have special meetings regarding the marijuana establishments, that it would be important for, if possible, all of us to be there, but certainly the chair.
Well, I appreciate that, but as long as there's a quorum, I would prefer that the process move along. That's just my comment. And also, while we're talking about it, I'm leaving it to Mr. Lippens to find the best fit for the applicants, for himself, for the Planning Commission. I don't want to dictate to Mr. Lippens when he should have meetings and so forth, because most times that just does not work. And sometimes things are not ready. Sometimes things are ready. That's Mr. Lippens' purview, and I prefer to leave it to him. But I know Ms. Chick had her hand up. I'll get to you, Mr. Cousineau.
No, it wasn't me, Mr. Cousineau.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, that was an alarm clock for you. Mr. Cousineau.
Thank you. I might need a refresher here. So as far as the number of permits that we're letting out, I'm just curious how this is going to play out. If you got multiple people vying for a fixed number of permits already, and they're already in the pipeline, and new ones come in, how does that work out if they're agreed to be go forward on the ones that are already in here, what's the point in bringing new ones in?
Mr. Lippens, can you answer that, please?
Well, yes, I can answer that. The marijuana facility applicants are aware that there are other applications, and they've been informed meetings that we've had with them, as well as the FAQ, and throughout the process that it's a competitive process, and that if they choose to proceed with the site plan conditional use application, they're doing so essentially at their own risk because there's a limited number of permits. I think that, ultimately, when an application gets approved for a conditional use, they may, because of the buffer requirements, limit other applications from being approved. And additionally, with respect to the retail and provisioning licenses, we've got 3 of each. So in addition to there being geographical restrictions, there's also a number of permit restrictions. I guess the answer is if people are choosing to file applications knowing full well where other people are in the process, they're assuming the risk involved with filing that application.
Okay, so just for clarification, we're not trying to get a pool all in at the same time. We're not trying to fill up a pool and pick from that pool. There are people that are in line based on order of submittal and or preparedness to move forward, correct? I mean, we're not waiting for other people to jump in at some point in time and say, okay, now you can get in there, correct?
Yes, you're exactly correct. I mean, based on when people have filed applications, and the group that you're hearing now basically filed applications as soon as possible. So they, at every instance when they had an opportunity to move forward in the process, file application, they generally filed them around the same time. We do have the dates of the actual file, and even on the agenda tonight, the cases were scheduled in the order of that site plan and conditional use application. So we have been tracking that. But if there's a site that's ready for the next step in the process, we're moving them forward because they're ready. We have no reason to justify holding anyone up in the process. As you know, in dealing with site plan applications, people can disappear for 6 months. And it would make no sense for us to slow up another application because we're not hearing back, someone's not being responsive, somebody's not following the procedure. We've set a procedure and we are processing the applications as soon as the applicant is ready to move forward. And that's what we'll continue to do until the permits are granted. At which point we'll have to take it from there.
Right. Very good, thank you.
Ms. Chick had a question.
Yeah, so I want to make sure I understand what I thought I heard last time we discussed that, and that was we were hearing these 6 cases, public hearing these 6 cases, then we would go through the conditional use and site plan approval process, and that we would send all 6 of them to the board if they get through that process at the same time. So we're not going to wait for anybody coming in after that to send these to the board, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And that's the same with your next meeting. Essentially, if we have 5 people that have addressed all the site plan concerns for your consideration, we'll schedule those 5 people over 2 meetings as Planning Commission has requested, and Planning Commission will have the opportunity to send all 5, say, to the board. But if only 2 are ready for your August 5th meeting, I'll place 2 on your agenda for August 5th. And that seems as the fairest way to do it, based on who has completed that part of the process. We're going to move everyone who's ready forward as soon as they're ready.
Any other questions? Comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. I make a motion to approve the minutes from July 1st regular meeting and dispense with reading. Is there support? Support by Mr. Zarzaki. Any questions, comments, corrections on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Final call to the public. Mr. Lippens, I'll let you take that.
Thank you, Chair. At this time, attendees, you have the opportunity to address Planning Commission. Usually this would be for items not as a part of the public hearing. So I think everyone's had an opportunity to speak to the cases on the agenda tonight. But anyone who has another comment for Planning Commission, now would be the time. We ask that you do state your name and address, and you will have 3 minutes. Again, this is not a question and answer. So if you make a comment, it will be part of the record. So I'm seeing one attendee, Brant Johnson. You have an opportunity to speak. I'm going to allow you to talk. Brant, you have the floor. Please state your name, address, and your affirmative.
Brant Johnson, 2848 East Grand River, East Lansing, Michigan, 48823. Once again, I want to thank all the board members, for the commissioners, for giving people the opportunity to speak tonight. Just want to know, and I know this is not a question and answer segment, but if an applicant wanted an opportunity to have another public hearing to address some of the community's concerns, is that available? That can be addressed at, however appropriate. But that's my question. And once again, I want to thank everybody, and have a blessed night.
Thank you for the comments, Brant. I know the chair may choose to answer comments at the end of the session. Does anyone else in the attendees, does anyone have a final comment as part of the final call to the public this evening? I'm not seeing anyone else with their hand raised. Chair, I'll turn it back to you. I don't know if you would like to address the question or if you would like me to.
Thank you, Mr. Lippens. Yes, I'd like to give you an opportunity to respond to the question from the call to the public.
Thank you, Chair. So with regards to the public, the State Zoning Enabling Act requires the township to hold a public hearing, as well as township ordinance for conditional uses. I honestly have I've never had anyone ask for another public hearing before, but I don't think we're precluded from doing that. I guess I would say to any of the applicants, if you feel like at this time in the process, your application would benefit from scheduling another public hearing, I just ask you to follow up with Ms. Bird and myself, and certainly we want to accommodate anyone's wishes in the township if it's feasible. So I'd be happy to research and work with applicants to address their concerns in that regard.
Mr. Lippens, I would like to also chime in on that topic. The applicant does know that they'll have another opportunity to make a presentation to the Planning Commission for their site plan review and their conditional use permit review by the commission. And also, if everything goes accordingly, they would also have another opportunity to address the Board of Trustees. So perhaps through those additional meetings, it typically isn't necessary to have another public hearing. Am I correct?
Yes, I mean, there certainly will be numerous opportunities for discussion on these cases. As far as the statutory requirements to schedule and notice a public hearing, I would say those have been met by tonight's public hearing. And then I think the other thing that is worth saying too is there's nothing to applicants from doing their own engagement with neighbors or residents. You heard from at least one, possibly several applicants this evening that had been doing their own community outreach as well. So that's certainly an option for people.
Right. As far as the commission is concerned, well, speaking as one commissioner, and we could hear from the other commissioners, our obligation for the public hearing for that case has been met. And anything further above and beyond that that an applicant may want to do certainly could fall under something that, like you suggested, having public outreach or whatever they see fit. I, for one, would not want to revisit a public hearing once we had one. If there's obvious issues, there's ample opportunity for the applicant to address them through the process. One of them being the actual review by the Planning Commission. And again, like I said, at the level of the Board of Trustees, but perhaps some other commissioners can give their opinion so that in case you do need to make that decision, you can get a sense of what the commission feels. Mr. Dwyer, I saw a hand up.
Well, I think if we repeat public meetings or public reviews just because the applicant didn't think it went well, we'll be here forever. It has to be a compelling reason, and the only compelling reason would be that the public felt that they didn't have a chance to have their say. So I'm not in favor of repeating these meetings because the applicant wants another crack at it.
Ms. Chick, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. The applicant has a couple of opportunities to address the public, both at the conditional use and site plan review, and then again in front of the board. And at both of those meetings, there will be public present, assuredly. So I don't think that he would be missing any opportunity by not getting a second public hearing. Just go through the process.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, Mr. Kuzno.
Yeah, so echoing what they just said, obviously the public hearing is for the public's opportunity to comment on the plan. And as you may have noticed, Mr. Johnson, that we provide at the beginning of each meeting and at the end of each meeting for public commentary for anything on the agenda. So you may get feedback at that point in time when you're presenting to us your site plan going forward. So it's absolutely unnecessary step to go with another public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Zarzecki.
I'm also in agreement that additional public, hearings are not going to be beneficial to the public in the sense most of them have already spoken, and there are multiple times that they can also speak later at these other meetings that we're going to have. There is a cost to the township for publications and putting everything in for these public meetings. We've done the one that's required, and there are multiple, potentials in the future for additional input. Public outreach by the applicants is probably their best bet.
Thank you. Mr. Iaquinto, you have a comment?
No comment. Everyone's covered it well, sir. Thank you.
May I just jump in really quickly and add, I agree with everyone, but I also believe that we are trying our best to move this process forward, and the last thing we need is to add more meetings when we're already trying to schedule special meetings to move forward with not just these proposals and applications, but we have a lot of other things on our plate that need to be attended to. So I really believe we're trying to do our best under strange circumstances, and this is what you get. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Infante. So comments from commissioners. I guess I'll start. I'd like to thank all the applicants for their participation in the public hearing, all the public comments, the questions, the concerns. Mr. Lippens, thank you for all your efforts on all the application process. It was an ambitious agenda, to say the least, so I thank all the commissioners for their attention span tonight too. So thanks to all. Anyone else? Ms. Chick?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Mr. Lippens as well, and for the people that list. This is probably the longest meeting we've ever had, so yeah, thank you for hanging in there. Also, I want really am appreciative of all the people that participated in the meeting. I know sometimes these Zoom meetings are a little daunting to people and they're not used to connecting that way, but I'm very impressed with the fact that as many people did participate that they did. Very impressed with the way they articulated their comments on the issues, and I took them all to heart. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Dwyer.
Just like to echo our thanks to Mr. Lippens. I commend him for the enormous amount of work he's done so far, and the enormous amount of work yet to be done, and for the way he's facilitated these meetings and navigated with the applicants through this process. I think it's been so much easier because of his commendable efforts.
Mr. Zarzaki.
I would also like to compliment all the presenters, that the time and effort and the dedication to put their businesses in our township. But I would like to especially thank all the residents that actually came out for this and let us know what you were looking at, what your concerns are. We may be your board, but we need your input as to what is going on out there and how you feel. So a special thanks to them.
Thank you. Mr. Cousineau.
No comment, thank you.
I saw the thumbs up. Okay. Mr. Iaquinto.
Thank you. I too would like to thank all of the participants, but especially the community for their input. It is very helpful to have their input. And again, they're giving up their valuable time to be part of the process. So thank you for doing so.
Thank you. Ms. Infante.
This meeting was hugely helpful. Thank you to everyone who was involved, and Paul, you just really pulled it off. Thank you so much.
Okay, with all that said, I will announce the next meeting, regular meeting, August 5th, 2020, and make a motion to adjourn. Do I have support?
Support.
Lots of support. I think Ms. Chick had her hand up first.
Oh, go with
All in
Mr.
favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Good night, guys.